Extracting World of Warcraft skills in American comics. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26 Frost Nova. A park in New York. As soon as Mei Gan finished speaking, a bone-chilling chill enveloped the entire park. Even though Tony and the others were wearing thick steel armor, and even though Tony had prepared the armor to resist the cold, he still felt the chill, the cold that penetrated deep into his soul, as if it was freezing his entire soul inside. Not to mention Tony and the others. Vank at the skill center felt even worse. This half second seemed like more than a century had passed, as if he had consciousness, but had been frozen for a century. Frost had already covered the entire armor, and the long whip that was gleaming with light was no longer gleaming. Bang, the shadow of the iceberg flashed by, and then an explosion sounded. I saw Vank's entire armor exploded, turning into countless small pieces that scattered on the surrounding ground. Frost Nova, the first skill of the undead Lich, creates a frost explosion at the target, causing damage to all nearby enemies and slowing their movement speed. Mei Gan used the skill this time to increase his magic power because this guy destroyed his beloved car. On the ground, the broken pieces were still emitting a trace of coldness, and the coldness was spreading around. In the blink of an eye, the entire ground was covered with ice. I will keep my word. If I say I will cut you into 10,000 pieces, it must be 10,000 pieces. It is impossible to have only 1,000 pieces, Mei Gan said fiercely, and then turned and walked towards his beloved car. Hissed Tony, he is so cruel. Rod looked at the Vank scattered all over the ground and whispered to Tony in horror at Mei Gan's back. Hiss. Don't worry, as long as you don't destroy his things, you will be safe. Mei is a very good person. Let's go, it's too cold here. Tony patted Rod's shoulder and quickly followed Mei Gan's back. When he walked outside the park, he saw Mei Gan looking at the car that had been cut into two halves in frustration. Ahem. Mei, don't be too sad. Vank is targeting me. Your car was also destroyed because of me. I will compensate you with a new one tomorrow. Don't worry, Tony said, hugging Mei Gan's shoulders. Tony, if you hadn't said it, I would have forgotten. It's all your fault. Since you've compensated me, I won't bother with you. Mei Gan suddenly realized what he said. That's right. It was all Tony who brought those guys to mess around in front of me, causing my car to be gone. Fortunately, Tony has the money to compensate for my new car. Otherwise I would have skinned him alive. Let's go back first. I'll erase your existence. Don't worry, you won't be here tonight. Tony was very sensible and finished what happened tonight. Okay, let's go. Bye. Mei Gan packed up his belongings and walked towards an unmanned car controlled by Jarvis. Watching Mei Gan drive the car away, Tony said to Rod beside him, let's go, we are going back too. You didn't introduce me just now. Such a powerful person. I want to meet someone I know, Rod said to Tony with a clinging look. Dude, you're from the military. Tony rolled his eyes at Rod and drove the Mark armor into the sky. Okay. The military may not be well received, let alone the Chinese. Rhodes shrugged. At the door of the flower shop, Mei Gan looked at the house that was not damaged at all, and he breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, my physical therapy center was not damaged. Mei, did you change the car? Where is our beloved car? Looking at Mei Gan getting out of the car, Audrey, who was standing at the door waiting for Mei Gan, asked in confusion. They even changed the car after being out for 2 days. Audrey, our beloved car was destroyed. It's all because of that damn Ivan Vanko. Mei Gan walked up and hugged Audrey, explaining. You are not injured. The car is gone. We can just buy another one, and there is insurance. Audrey patted Mei Gan on the back and said softly. Tony has promised to compensate me with a car. It's all because of this guy. He always hangs around me. Don't take advantage of Tony all the time. It was his fault in the first place. I didn't take advantage of him. Mei Gan pulled Audrey into the flower shop, talking about what happened tonight while walking. Alas, your eyes are even blinder than mine. I have been standing here for so long, but I didn't notice it. You are indeed in love. You only have eyes for each other. For the sake of the little guy, I won't bother with you. Uncle Khan complained to the backs of the two people, but there was no complaint on his face, only happiness. Uncle Khan, don't say bad things about me. I'm fine. Come and eat. Mei Gan turned and called to Uncle Khan. Stinky boy. Uncle Khan cursed inwardly when he knew that he was fooled by Mei Gan, and then walked towards the flower shop. Night. On the bed on the second floor of the flower shop, Mei Gan was lying on the bed, thinking about the surprise Audrey mentioned today. Licking his lips, he couldn't wait. He shouted to the bathroom, "Honey, are you not ready yet? I'm here. What's wrong?" Audrey walked out of the bathroom with a bath towel and asked Mei Gan after a while, "Hey, didn't you say you would give me a surprise today? What's the surprise?" Mei Gan asked Audrey with a lewd smile. Audrey lay down in Mei Gan's arms, found a comfortable angle, and said, "Don't move, not now." Mei Gan, who was impatient, stopped and looked at Audrey in confusion and said, "What's wrong? Your relatives shouldn't come at this time. Didn't you want to give me a surprise? You're thinking about this in your mind. You can't touch me for the next 3 months." Audrey tapped Mei Gan's forehead with her white fingers, her cheeks slightly red, and said, "Why? 3 months is too long. How about losing weight?" Mei Gan showed a bitter face. "No, I just had a baby." Audrey smiled and looked at Mei Gan and said with her arms around Mei Gan's neck, "Baby? What baby? You said you are pregnant." Mei Gan hadn't recovered at first and finally realized something. The body sat up all of a sudden, and Mei Gan looked at Audrey's abdomen with a stiff face, which was still very flat. Seeing Mei Gan's bad complexion, Audrey asked gloomily, "Mei, don't you want a child? Last time I heard you talking about the money for the baby's milk powder, I thought you wanted a child, so I cut a hole in my umbrella several times." Her eyes were already a little red. After hearing Audrey's words, Mei Gan came back to his senses. Looking at her gloomy expression, Mei Gan hurriedly said, No, I like children very much. I just didn't react for a while." "Really?" Audrey's eyes flashed. "Really, I like children very much, preferably a girl," Mei Gan said, hugging Audrey again. "Why a girl?" Audrey asked in confusion after calming down. "Because a girl is a father's little cotton padded jacket." "Is it true? When did it happen? I can't believe it. I'm going to be a father." Mei Gan gently touched Audrey's abdomen and said happily on his face, "I couldn't eat this morning, so I went to see Khan. Uncle Khan told me this. Go to Uncle Khan tomorrow to ask for some food to help with the pregnancy. Khan has asked Kato to bring it from Chinatown tomorrow," Audrey said, holding Mei Gan's hand. "Uncle Khan is still reliable. Thinking of his own child." Mei Gan smiled foolishly. Chapter 27. Hello, I'm Steve Rogers. In the morning, inside the flower shop, Mei Gan was greeting customers who were buying flowers. Audrey was sitting on the sofa, looking at Mei Gan, who was busy with work with a happy face. Red Dragon was lying in Audrey's arms and dozing peacefully. Since knowing that Audrey was pregnant, Mei Gan helped to look after the shop every day and took care of Audrey. Originally, I wanted to take Audrey to see Hammer Brother vs. Robot and travel at the same time. Who knew that plans could not keep up with changes, but Mei Gan did not feel frustrated. After all, travel can be done at any time. When the time comes, buy a motorhome and take the children. The family can go wherever they want. As for Mei Gan's plan to make money, that has been thrown out of his mind. Since knowing that he is going to be a father, Mei Gan has already had some sense of belonging to this world. It can be imagined that the end of the purple potato spirit should not be very good. After all, there are people that Mei Gan cares about here. Mei Gan has already decided to participate in the New York War. It is not for anything else. Mei Gan has taken the cosmic cube. Even if the purple potato spirit comes directly, it will not work. Even his own physiotherapy clinic is rarely visited. Uncle Khan has no idea how many times he has secretly scolded Mei Gan recently. Fortunately, Kato and Peter have helped. Uncle Khan has also recruited 2 girls to work as waiters and receptionists, but these 2 girls are quite sharp-tongued. "Sir, your roses. Welcome back next time." Mei Gan sent a customer away and put the US dollars in his hand on the cash register. "Dear, your flower shop doesn't seem to make much money. Why don't we close it? We don't need this little money," Mei Gan said with little interest, pointing to today's turnover in the drawer. Mei Gan felt that he had no interest in money anymore. Audrey still had a huge sum of 50 million in her bank account, as well as shares of the Stark Group. Since Tony changed his career, Mei Gan's wallet has become more and more swollen. He no longer cares about the money from selling flowers. He is so arrogant. "No, Mei, I still want to find something to do," Audrey refused. "When the little guy is born, you will be busy," Mei Gan said gently, while looking at Audrey. "When he grows up, it will be good for me to take care of the people and run the store at the same time. I like flowers very much." Audrey took out a lily beside her and said with a smile, "As long as you like it." Mei Gan shrugged. "By the way, Mei, a new neighbor has moved into Uncle Lawrence's house next to the physiotherapy clinic," Audrey said as she looked at the movers coming in and out of the door of the house next to the physiotherapy clinic. "Who is so brave to move next to me? Let's go and take a look." Mei Gan was a little surprised to hear that. Since the physiotherapy clinic was destroyed by Mrs. Gao, some neighbors next door have moved away. The physiotherapy clinic is always destroyed, and everyone thinks this place is weird. However, some people with big hearts dare not live here until the physiotherapy clinic is destroyed by the Abomination. After all, this place is so weird, who knows what will come to destroy it next time. Tony and Banner bought a house here and planned to be neighbors with Mei Gan. They were already renovating it. They had no other ideas, but they felt it was safer. Although the house was often destroyed, there was a strong man here, and the house was several buildings away from Mei Gan's physiotherapy center. Banner's house was also paid by Tony, so Banner signed a new contract with Tony. It is estimated that the wage earner Banner will sell it to Tony for a long time. Uncle Lawrence's house is the closest to the physiotherapy center, and it has never been sold. Today, someone is so brave, Mei Gan must go to get to know him. Mei Gan took Audrey to the opposite side. After all, they are neighbors, and they may deal with each other frequently in the future. It is still necessary to get to know each other. When they walked outside, they saw two new girls recruited by the physiotherapy center standing at the door of the physiotherapy center, looking at the owner of the house with great interest, and they had heated discussions from time to time. "Hey, Linda, look at his hips. It is a perfect match with my figure," the tall girl said to the woman next to her with peach blossom eyes. "Everly, I think this guy's the one who tricked me into going to the hotel. That was the only time I went to the hotel. You know, I used to go to the alleys." One of the girls with a plump figure licked her lips and looked at the boy with a perky butt and said, "So, Linda, are you trying to steal my man? Let me tell you, I learned kung fu from Jack Chen." "Ata." Evely made a boxing gesture. "Everly, he will never like your flat front and the back that can run an airplane." Linda looked at the tall girl Evely with disdain. "Linda." The blonde Evely jumped and stared at Linda. "Oh. Linda Evely, don't talk to me in your tone. That can annoy stray dogs to death." Linda said to Evely in Evely's tone. "Okay, Linda, we are good sisters, right? We can't attack each other for a man." Evely said to Linda with a wronged expression. "You are missing something. We will never attack each other in this life. Besides, this guy has a better figure than me. I like it," Linda said disdainfully, after looking at Evely's body. "Hey, Linda, don't you think he looks like Chris Evans in Love Pieces, and I look like Michelle? We are a perfect match," Evely said to the sister next to her again. "Yes, you really look like Michelle. You two are flat," Linda said after glancing at Evely's front and back. "Hi. Two girls, you two are standing here and watching me discuss for so long. Is there something going on?" At some point, the protagonist of the discussion had walked to the two of them. "Hello, handsome guy, have we been there before?" Linda patted the man's shoulder with one hand and said teasingly, "We must not have met before. In fact, I just woke up." The man politely stepped back and explained, "Actually, what I want to ask is whether you have been there before. Even if we have met, I certainly won't remember it." The visitor was stunned. He couldn't stand such a lewd word. He didn't know how to answer. It seems that I, an old antique, can't keep up with the times. Linda, I think you should stop teasing our lovely neighbor. Mei Gan took Audrey to the side of the group and said to Linda, hey, Mei, you can't abort my love just because you have Audrey, just like my mother wanted to abort me back then. Linda said to Mei Gan with a smile, you guys go back to the store first. Don't worry, he's moved in. You have plenty of time to pursue your love. Okay, I'll lend you my future husband first. Linda took Evely, who wanted to say something, and walked back to the physical therapy center. Hello, I'm Steve Rogers. Thank you for your help just now. Steve stretched out his hand to Mei Gan and thanked him. You're welcome, Captain. I know that you may not be able to keep up with the thinking of some girls nowadays, after sleeping in the ice for 70 years. Mei Gan stretched out his hand and shook hands with Steve, smiling and replied, it seems that you know me, so, who are you? Steve was very curious about this neighbor, who actually knew about my sleep in the glacier. Mei Gan, the owner of a physical therapy center. This is my fiancée Audrey Moore, a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. It was also my information that allowed them to find you. It seems that Nick bought this house without telling you my identity. Hello. Audrey stretched out her hand to the former Captain America. Hello. He didn't tell me. I just asked him for a home and try to integrate into this era here. Steve shrugged. How about going in for a cup of coffee? Mei Gan invited Steve. Of course, Steve readily agreed. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. My mouth is tight. In the physiotherapy center, Mei Gan and Steve sat on the sofa in the living room. Audrey had returned to the flower shop. After all, there had to be someone in the flower shop, and Audrey was not interested in hearing about S.H.I.E.L.D. Linda put a cup of coffee on the table of Steve and Mei Gan. Thank you, Linda. I have something to talk to this gentleman about. You leave first, Mei Gan said to Linda, who was standing beside Steve and was infatuated with him. Okay. Linda left reluctantly. Captain, how do you feel about this era? Mei Gan asked, after taking a sip of coffee. Tea tastes better, and coffee is not suitable for him. I feel like I just came out of a primitive tribe. Everything is so strange. I can only use the mobile phone used by the elderly. Steve took out the elderly phone in his pocket and complained to Mei Gan. Steve could feel that Mei Gan had no hostility towards him, otherwise Nick would not let him live here. I believe everything will be fine. After all, the captain has been strengthened. Mei Gan looked at this elderly phone with a smile. You know, in the previous life, many elderly people would use touch phones to watch Diane. Maybe. How did Mr. Mei know that I was frozen there? Steve asked the question he had always wanted to ask. I have some special abilities, like this. Am I the same kind of person as the captain? Mei Gan stretched out his hand and a staff appeared in his hand. Mei Gan was not afraid that Steve would know his specialness. In fact, many so-called upper-class people in the United States knew about Mei Gan's existence, but they were either warned or shocked by Mei Gan's last time, so no one has come to disturb him until now. So, this is magic, which is cool. Mr. Mei doesn't need to call me captain anymore, just call me Steve. Steve looked at the staff in Mei Gan's hand with interest. You can think of it that way, Steve. You can also call me Mei. I'm very happy to make friends with you, Mei Gan said, after putting the staff back into the space. Hearing Mei Gan's address, Steve smiled. Of course, Mei. Steve, do you still want to return to the battlefield in the future? Mei Gan asked Steve, after they drank a sip of coffee. No. The war is over, and an old man like me is not needed now. It's just that Nick Fury wants me to join his Avengers, and I'm still considering it, Steve said without thinking. In fact, you should live for yourself now. You said that the war is over, and this country doesn't owe you anything. On the contrary, it is this country that owes you. Mei Gan expressed his opinion. Maybe you are right, Mei. Steve thought for a while and replied. I'm just giving you a suggestion, although I know you may still agree to Nick Fury in the future. Thank you for your suggestion. I will think about it carefully. Now, I just want to understand this era well. I may come to bother you often in the future, Mei. Just don't think I'm troublesome. Steve smiled and thanked. That won't happen. We like lively places. Look at how energetic those 3 people outside are. Mei Gan pointed to the 3 guys who were joking in the hall. Outside the door, Linda was lying beside the counter and asked Kato, who was instructing Evely to make coffee, "Hey, Kato, does the handsome guy next door who looks like Chris know Mei? How come they can chat for so long?" "I don't know, they should know each other." Kato didn't dare to look at Linda directly for fear of being dazzled by the headlights. Could it be that Mei cheated on a man? "Don't joke, Linda. Brother-in-law and sister-in-law are very loving," Kato said hurriedly. "Okay, I'm just joking. I heard that Iron Man Tony appeared here for the first time. Did you know that?" Kato: "Yes. And those 2 monsters, no wonder. So many stores have moved away. The bar I often go to has moved away. I quite like that bartender. He used to pull me to the alley next to the bar very rudely," Linda said with some nostalgia. "Why doesn't Mei move away?" Evely asked puzzledly. "You will know later." Kato smiled mysteriously. "You Orientals are really mysterious." "That's right. My Oriental ex-boyfriend was also very mysterious. That was the most exciting love. He took me to several gangs' territories to do things." Linda interrupted with memories. "Then what happened?" "Then on the 3rd day, he mysteriously disappeared without a trace. If there were no garbage left in the trash can, I would have thought I was dreaming." Linda spread her hands. At this time, Steve and Mei Gan walked out of the reception room. "I'm going back first, Mei. Thank you for your coffee. It's great." Steve shook Mei Gan's hand and said, "Okay, it's right next to you. You can come over for coffee anytime." "I will. I'm going back first, beautiful girl. Bye." Steve waved to the 2 people at the front desk. Looking at Steve, who was leaving, Kato walked to Mei Gan and asked quietly, "Brother Gan, who is this person? I've never seen you talk to your neighbors for so long before." "Steve Rogers, the former Captain America," Mei Gan replied casually. "Hiss, is this really him? Isn't he dead?" Kato took a breath and asked in confusion. "Not dead. I've been a frozen man for 70 years. Don't talk nonsense. I'm going back to the flower shop." Mei Gan patted Kato's shoulder and warned, "Don't worry, Brother Gan. My mouth is tight. Not a word will leak out." Kato patted his chest and promised. "That's good," Mei Gan said, and went back to the flower shop. Unexpectedly, this antique is still alive. "It's incredible," Kato murmured to himself. "Hey, Kato, what are you and Mei Shen talking about mysteriously?" Linda patted Kato's shoulder and asked. "No, nothing, I tell you, Linda. Evely, you must not know who the man was just now." Seeing that Mei Gan had already walked into the flower shop, Kato pulled Linda and Evely and whispered mysteriously, "Who is it? Is he very famous?" Evely asked doubtfully. "Hey, who else can it be? It must be Linda George Braxby and K. Don't think about it, Linda. He won't like you. You are too different." Kato looked at Linda with contempt and said, "Yes, indeed, he must be my Evely Wesper Channing." Evely also spoke in a loud voice. "Evely, don't daydream. If it was before, you might still have a chance, but now." After saying that, Kato shook his head. After straightening his face, Kato said again, "I tell you, you must not tell others." Okay, Kato, don't be so sweet like candy. Tell me quickly." "He is the famous Steve Rogers," Kato whispered. "Who is that?" Linda said in confusion. "Oh, my god. Is this true? Kato, tell me, is this true? Is he not dead?" Evely thought for a while and grabbed Kato's arm excitedly with a red face. "Of course." Kato nodded with certainty. "Oh my god. God. No wonder I thought he looked familiar. It turned out to be him. I can't believe it. Can you tell me who he is?" Linda looked at Evely, who was jumping around in confusion. "You don't recognize this name, Linda? You really don't know him? You haven't been to school?" Kato looked at Linda. "Of course. Is it strange not to recognize this name? You know, my mother didn't have money to send me to school before. If she had money, she would rush to buy the thing she was addicted to." Linda had an expression that was not very normal. "He is Captain America, Linda. You should know Captain America." "Oh my god. Are you sure this is true? This is incredible," Linda said with her head wide open. No, isn't that my fiancé just like the bathtub in Evelyn's villa? Just lost like that? Linda changed her mind and blurted out. Don't say it, Linda. At least you have soaked in that bathtub, but you haven't soaked in this man, Evelyn said in shock. Chapter 29. A guy in a leather jacket comes to see you. Inside the flower shop, Audrey looked at Kato and the other two who were talking and said to Mei Gan with a smile, Mei, look, Kato and Linda get along very well. It seems that he doesn't need to act cool when talking to girls in the future. Mei Gan replied with a smile. Captain America has returned, and Hammer has also come down, so the New York war is not far away. Mei Gan is a little worried about his house. After all, the feng shui here is obvious to all. Don't let your own physiotherapy center collapse again. If the physiotherapy center is conscious, it is estimated that it has been damaged and can't even say a curse. Putting the plate in his hand on the table, Mei Gan said to Audrey, honey, I'll take the lunch to the other side. You eat first. As long as Mei Gan and Audrey are at home, they will contract the lunch for the people in the physiotherapy center. Mei Gan has been practicing cooking recently, so that he can cook for the children, and Uncle Gan and the others are the best tasters. Fortunately, Mei Gan's cooking skills are still there, and he won't make people feel uncomfortable. Otherwise Uncle Gan and the others would rather go out to eat. After lunch, Mei Gan was watching TV leisurely with Audrey. Several black men with tattoos and arrogant faces walked into the flower shop, holding some weapons such as baseball bats or knives in their hands. From time to time, they would pick a flower and smell it. A black man wearing sunglasses and a nose ring walked up to the two of them, arrogantly biting his chewing gum and looking at Mei Gan and the others wantonly. The moment Mei Gan saw the person coming, he thought, aren't you afraid that your nose will be torn off with such a big nose ring? The bold black man chewed gum and saw Audrey. His eyes lit up, and he looked at Audrey unscrupulously, almost drooling. Mei Gan saw this guy and sentenced him to death in his heart. He stood up and walked in front of the person who came, blocking Audrey behind him, and said to Audrey, honey, you go to the second floor first. Leave this to me. Audrey responded and walked to the second floor. The black man kicked the vase blocking him away, raised his head, and said to Mei Gan, hey, yellow monkey, we have the final say on this street now. From today on, you all have to pay protection fees to me. As soon as the black man opened his mouth, Mei Gan knew that these guys should not be able to leave a complete body. Discrimination in the United States exists in every place, but as long as it is against Mei Gan, he will send them to hell, and not even a complete body will be left. These guys should have just arrived here, and they are the kind who have no backers. Otherwise, those who have backers in the New York underground world will not know that this is a taboo place for them now, unless they are fooled here as cannon fodder. Mei Gan carefully looked at these guys, and the more he looked at them, the more he felt that there was a familiar smell on them, as if he had seen it before. Hey. Fuck, you are talking to me. The black leader looked at Mei Gan with dissatisfaction. You are that disgusting pro-ghost tribe. Mei Gan finally remembered the stench on these guys, and they must have just come into contact with that disgusting vampire. When Mei Gan just settled down in the Big Apple, he discovered this group of vampires whose stench could be smelled from hundreds of meters away. In order to smell fresh air in the future, he secretly cleaned up all the vampires around him. After all, their smell was too bad. Now these guys have appeared again. It seems that I have to go out to be a demon slayer again at night. Damn. What happened to that guy who is very good at pretending? Didn't I tell him not to drive these disgusting guys here? Fuck. I don't know what you are talking about. Pay the protection fee to me. The black leader frowned and looked at Mei Gan seriously again. Get out. Mei Gan took out a sledgehammer from the space and tapped the black leader's chest. Looking at the hammer that suddenly appeared in Mei Gan's hand, these guys knew they had met a tough guy. What fuck? I want bang, get out of here for me. You are so fucking smelly. Mei Gan interrupted the black leader and kicked the guy out of the door. You don't listen to human words. You want to listen to ghost words, right? Mei Gan kicked the rubbish who had not yet reacted to the door of the flower shop one by one. Mei Gan walked out of the door, stepped on a guy with one foot, pulled down his neck, and saw a mark of a vampire. If a group of people don't want to be ghosts, there is no need to keep them. Looking at the opposite side, Kato had already taken Evely and Linda away, so Mei Gan shouted to the red dragon inside. "Red baby, burn these guys to ashes." Roar. A low roar sounded. The red dragon flapped its wings and flew out of the flower shop without Mei Gan's order. A mouthful of red breath sprayed out, and in an instant it had spread to this group of rubbish. After a moment, it burned this group of pro-ghost people to ashes. "Mei, you." Steve trotted over and asked Mei Gan with a frown. "Steve, do you know vampires?" Mei Gan didn't explain, but just asked Steve. "Vampires, they." Steve pointed to the ashes on the ground. "They are not. They are just a bunch of trash who want to be vampires. Come in and sit down. If you don't believe it, you can ask Nick. He knows." Mei Gan didn't wait for Steve to answer and walked into the flower shop, saying to Steve as he walked, "Vampires really exist." Steve already believed it a little. "Would you like to go see them together tonight? But I need to prepare some equipment for you. There is no coffee in the flower shop, only tea." "Don't mind." Mei Gan poured a cup of tea for Steve and said, "Okay, I haven't seen a vampire yet. What equipment do you need?" "I'll ask Nick to get some." "Is it silver, garlic, or a cross?" Steve asked after taking a sip of tea. "That's about right." Just then, Linda on the opposite side swaggered in and said to Mei Gan, "Mei, there is a guy wearing sunglasses and leather clothes on the opposite side who looks cool and wants to see you." Who? Mei Gan looked puzzled. Could it be that group of pro-ghost people again? How come there is no smell? It's a black man. Black man. Mei Gan was even more puzzled. "I don't seem to know any black people. Could it be that these rubbish are here to cause trouble? Don't you know him? Do you want me to drive him away? Anyway, he's not my type, but he has a great body." Linda pointed to a black man who walked out of the physiotherapy center. Mei Gan looked up and took a closer look. Wow. That guy who is very good at pretending is here. The pro-ghost tribe just arrived here and this guy came. It seems that things are quite tricky for him. "Linda, ask him to come over here," Mei Gan said to Linda. "Steve, you don't have to ask Nick for equipment. Just ask that guy. He is a professional." Mei Gan then smiled and pointed at the black man and said to Steve, "Who is he?" Steve looked at the black man who was walking over in confusion. "He is a half human half vampire guy, but he specializes in killing vampires. His name is Blade, and the vampires call him Daywalker." Mei Gan introduced to Steve. "It's a good name," Steve praised. Blade walked into the store with a small bag and looked at the entire flower shop silently. "Mei, I didn't want to come to you." Blade looked at Mei Gan and said after a moment of silence, "Sit down first. Let's have a good chat." Mei Gan looked at Blade with a smile on his face, his eyes full of money. After Blade sat down, Mei Gan said to this guy who couldn't even fart with a stick, "You know my rules." Blade put a small bag in his hand on the table. "I only have these 200,000. Is it enough?" Blade asked, opening the small bag. "Okay, you have to give some weapons to the guy next to me. He has to join us tonight." Mei Gan pointed to Steve next to him. "Can he do it? He can fight all day." Chapter 30. Here he comes. He's finally here. Inside the flower shop, Blade Eric looked at Steve with disbelief. "Don't disbelieve me. He can really fight for a whole day," Mei Gan said to Blade. "Okay, I believe you," Blade responded silently. "How did those guys come back? Didn't I tell you not to let them come here?" After talking about tonight's events, Mei Gan asked Blade with a serious expression. "A guy came here with people. He wanted to summon the blood god. They have been here for a while, but they have only recently approached this street. I was thinking of cleaning them up myself," Blade said in a low voice. "So, you came to me and asked me to help you. He is very difficult." Mei Gan poured tea for Blade. "I'm alone. Whistler is dead." Blade's eyes were full of sadness. "Time, place, Hell's Kitchen. I will come to pick you up in the evening. I will go to prepare the stuff." Blade finished the tea in the cup and turned away. Mei Gan and the others watched Blade leave. Steve said, "He's pretty cool. How do you know him?" To a little girl, "Yes." Mei Gan took a sip of tea and continued, "When I first settled here, I met him when I went to clean up the vampires here. We've dealt with each other a few times, so we can be considered acquaintances." "Mei, you're still a mercenary?" Steve looked at the US dollars on the table. "No, I'm only to two people. They were the first ones to discover my ability. I was in urgent need of money at that time, So I told them that, as long as they brought money to me, I could help them. Mei Gan said slowly. At the beginning, he just wanted to make some money to achieve financial freedom, so he told the two guys that, as long as they secretly brought money to find him, he would help them. He thought that they might never come in their lifetime, but one of them still came. The other one should not know this place. At the beginning, he ran to clean up the vampires secretly. Now it seems that Nick Fury has noticed it, otherwise he wouldn't have stared at me for so long. Steve, next time you can tell Nick that you can ask me to help you with difficult matters, and I'll give him a discount. Mei Gan smiled and said to Steve, who was about to get up and go back, I know, I'll tell him, but he probably won't need you. After all, it's a peaceful era now. That's not certain, Steve. Mei Gan said with a mysterious smile. Okay, it seems that my bones can still be used. I'll go back first. Mei. See you tonight, Steve said and walked out. See you tonight. Mei Gan drank tea alone in silence, thinking about something. Recently, Nick Fury should be working on cleaning up Hydra. I haven't seen that guy Carlson for a long time. I will cheat Nick of a huge sum of money during the New York War, and another sum of money during the next Ultron crisis. By then, I should be financially free. Mei Gan showed a mercenary smile. Alas, if you don't manage the family, you don't know the daily necessities of life. Can you buy me a drink? When Mei Gan was thinking about his plan to cheat money, a gentle voice sounded in his ears. Mei Gan quickly came back to his senses and looked. I saw a bald man in a yellow gown sitting opposite Mei Gan. Ancient One, he is here. He finally came to find Mei Gan. He came on a ring of fire. Of course, Mei Gan responded quickly and poured a cup of tea for Ancient One. Thank you, good tea. Are you surprised that I came to see you, Mr. Mei? Ancient One took a sip of tea and asked Mei Gan with a smile. No, in fact, I have been waiting for you to come to me. I didn't expect Master Ancient One to come now. Mei Gan knew that maybe he could hide it from Nick Fury, but he couldn't hide it from Master Ancient One. In fact, Mei Gan couldn't even hide it from Nick Fury. Oh, it seems that Mr. Mei really knows a lot. Ancient One put the finished tea on the table. Can't Master Ancient One see it? Or, am I just an anomaly to this world? Before your wife was pregnant, Mr. Mei was a spectator in this world. I couldn't see too much about you. All I saw was a fog. However, when your wife was pregnant with your child, the timeline had changed. Ancient One looked at Mei Gan with burning eyes. You can see it now? Mei Gan asked, puzzled. Yes, I can already see part of it. When Mr. Mei has already felt a sense of belonging to this world, then you are an indispensable part of this world. That is, you originally belong to this world. But, in fact, I came from another world, Mei Gan said with a strange look. Yes. When your heart steps into this world, the moment your child is born, you will be closely connected with this world. Then, what if I don't have a child? Mei Gan picked up the teapot and refilled a cup of tea for Guyi. Then Mr. Mei will always be outside this world, and maybe one day he will disappear from this world. Or maybe Mr. Mei has something to worry about, and your heart really steps into this place. Guyi gestured to Mei Gan, who was refilling his cup, and said, Aren't Audrey and Uncle Kyan enough for me to step into this world? Not enough. Mr. Mei should know it himself. So this child is the bridge between me and this world. Can Master Guyi see that I exist in other parallel worlds? Some do, some don't. Mr. Mei wants to know what they do. No, they are them. I'm me. I won't think about what they do. I only know what I will do. Mei Gan raised his hand to refuse. It seems that Mr. Mei is very rational. Sometimes, Master Ancient One decided to come to me because of the child. Yes, I saw that the fog on Mr. Mei had dissipated a little, and I knew that I should come here to welcome you. If the fog on you is still there, I will not come, because I don't know when you will disappear. Master Ancient One is not afraid that I will destroy the world. You should know that I can do it. No, isn't it? At most, the country will be destroyed, and I can't stop it, but I can feel the kindness of Mr. Mei. Ancient One's voice is very gentle, and his smile is very warm, which can make people unconsciously full of good feelings for him. He is worthy of being the supreme mage for thousands of years. Maybe, I think Master Ancient One should say that he can feel my laziness. I'm too lazy to destroy the world. It seems that Mr. Mei likes to joke. Ancient One's expression seemed to relax a little. Isn't it? Thank you for the tea, Mr. Mei. If you are free, Mr. Mei can come to the temple as a guest. I will go back first. Ancient One seemed to have got the answer he wanted and stood up and said goodbye to Mei Gan. Okay, I'll try Master Guyi's good tea then. Guyi drew a portal beside him, turned to Mei Gan and smiled and nodded, then stepped into the fire circle and left. This fire circle is really convenient. Fortunately I also have a teleportation scepter. I'm not envious. Chapter 31 Let's go. Daywalker. Night. The sky was gloomy and the moon was hidden in the dark clouds. Mei Gan and Steve got into Blade's car. With the sound of the engine, the three of them drove all the way to Hell's Kitchen. In the driver's seat, Blade glanced at the two people in the back seat in the rearview mirror and said, Steve, there are things to deal with vampires under the seat. You can get familiar with them first. Steve did not respond to his words and dragged out a black cloth bag from under the seat. After opening it, he saw a shotgun, a long knife, and many silver bullets inside. Why is there only one gun? You didn't bring mine, Eric. Mei Gan looked at the things in the black bag, touched the shotgun, and was tempted. It has been 5 years since I came to this world, and this is the second time I have touched a gun. The last time I used it, it was not very satisfying. Mei, don't joke. I don't want you to use a gun again. I still have the scar from your accidental injury last time. Hearing that Mei Gan wanted a gun, Blade hurriedly said, ahem. I've explained it, Eric. It was a mistake last time. Everyone makes mistakes sometimes. Mei Gan coughed dryly a few times, trying to cover up his embarrassment. Mei, listen to me. You'd better not use the gun. You are not suitable. You should just use magic. Last time I gave you a gun, but you didn't hit the enemy with a single shot, and you even injured me by mistake. I don't want to see God so soon. My mission is not yet completed. Unexpectedly, Blade said a lot of words. It seems that the last experience made him feel scared. How could it be? I can hit the target with my bow and arrow, but I'm not proficient in guns. I will be fine this time. Mei Gan was very confident. After all, after drawing the burning arrow from the priestess, Mei Gan's bow and arrow had become very familiar to him. How could he not be able to handle this small firearm? Mei, that's what you said last time. Blade looked at Mei Gan with a resentful look that he had never used before. Mei, are you sure you can use a gun? Steve understood the conversation between the two and moved the shotgun a little further away to prevent Mei Gan from touching it. Okay. Forget it this time. Seeing that the two would not let him use it, Mei Gan waved his hand in frustration. Can you use the Remington M870? Blade was relieved to see Mei Gan agreed, then raised his eyebrows and asked Steve. Steve picked up the Remington, stretched out his hand to fumble for a while, and then replied, it's okay. Although this gun was not born when I was on the battlefield, it is still easy for a soldier to use it. What? Have you never used it? Blade was shocked when he heard it, and then he was puzzled. According to you, you are older than this gun. Steve Rogers, you should have heard of my name, Steve said to Blade with a smile. Blade looked at Steve. There should be nothing wrong with this white brother's head. Mei, are you sure there is nothing wrong with your friend here? Blade pointed to his head and asked Mei Gan, who was still depressed. Eric, you are half human, half ghost. There is nothing in this world that is unacceptable, Mei Gan said with certainty. It seems that you are ill. It's nice to meet you, Captain. Seeing Mei Gan's affirmation, Blade believed it. Reaching out and shaking hands with Blade, Steve smiled and replied, Captain has retired. I'm just an old man who wants to enjoy my old age now. You don't look like an old man. This is a bottle of garlic water. It should be able to help you when the time comes. Blade picked up a small bottle and gave it to Steve. Thank you. I didn't expect that I would have to kill vampires one day. This should be a good experience. Steve smiled and took the garlic water. How long will it take, Eric? Mei Gan interrupted their chat and asked. Soon. I'm still waiting to finish it early so I can go back to sleep. Mei Gan felt very bored. The vampires were too fragile. A holy light skill could kill a lot of them. There was no challenge at all. He had already thought about it. When he got there, he would open a holy shield, that is, invincibility, and rush over directly. The vampires would die if they were touched. Let's finish the fight quickly and call it a day. Won't Audrey smell good when we go back to sleep? If it weren't for the fact that these guys were so stinky, Mei Gan would definitely not come unless Blade gave him $1 million. We're here, hold on tight, I'm going to rush in directly, Blade reminded the two. Go. Daywalker, Mei Gan yelled in a second-rate voice. He didn't consider the embarrassment of the two people in the car at all, and was so embarrassed. Steve already regretted agreeing to come together tonight. How could a serious and upright person like me agree to Mei's request? It seems that I have to think carefully next time. Blade automatically blocked Mei Gan's words and stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. The black car rushed into a building like a cannonball. Crash. The glass of the building shattered into countless pieces, and the car rushed in without slowing down. In the corridor, more than a dozen fully armed pro-ghost tribesmen looked at the rushing car in shock. After a few breaths, they quickly reacted to avoid it, and at the same time, aimed their submachine guns at the car. Blade didn't give them a chance to shoot. He held a submachine gun out of the window with one hand, and fired countless bullets at the group of pro-ghost people. The remaining pro-ghost people did not sit there and wait to die, and also shot at the car. Bang bang bang, the sound of gunfire rang out. A minute later, more than a dozen fully armed pro-ghost people died tragically at the hands of Blade. Oh my god. It's so exciting to watch the gunfight so close, it makes me want to shoot a few shots. Mei Gan looked at the submachine gun that fell on the ground with shining eyes. Mei, calm down, we still have things to do. Blade, who was so handsome just now, heard this and hurriedly spoke out to stop Mei Gan's dangerous idea. Okay, it seems that I really can't play with guns today. What a bummer. Mei Gan shook his head in disappointment. Let's go. Let's go in, Steve, who had already got out of the car, said to the two. The three of them walked towards a passage. Mei Gan looked at the two people with long guns in front of him with envy. I don't envy you for having real guns. You can't compare to the guns I have. In the building, the vampire Frost was frantically saying to his subordinates, get him, understand? He is alone. Hearing the gunshots coming from downstairs, Frost's face showed anger. Why did I hear gunshots? I want to capture him alive, understand? After that, he led a group of vampires to rush towards Blade and the other two. In the downstairs passage, two vampires, a man and a woman, were walking towards Blade with daggers in their hands. When they saw the three people, they were stunned. Didn't they say that Blade was the only one? How come there are three people? Where did Blade find them? Damn. Blade, you are a man without martial ethics. The two cursed in their hearts, looked at each other, looked at the three people cautiously, and slowed down their pace. Leave these two too. Before Blade finished speaking, a dazzling golden light appeared and fell on the two vampires. The moment the holy light touched the vampires, the two vampires turned into ashes and scattered on the ground. Steve and Blade stared at Mei Gan in a daze. Why are you looking at me? Come on. You're too slow. I'm in a hurry to go home, Mei Gan said angrily, and then ignored the two and walked forward. The two smiled bitterly at each other, and Steve shrugged and followed Mei Gan. Chapter 32 Holy Shield. Inside the building, in a pure white room, Blade was walking to a computer and randomly pressed a few buttons on it. The silver stainless steel in the room slowly rose. A black woman in a white shirt stood up from inside. The black woman looked at the three people who appeared in the room in shock, then turned her head and looked at Blade with a burning gaze. Blade looked at the black woman, slowly took off the sunglasses on his face, and said to the black woman, "Aren't you dead? That night, I came back to life, and Deacon accepted me completely." The black woman seemed to be about to cry. Mei Gan pulled Steve to the corner and gave the space to the mother and son. Steve was confused and asked Mei Gan with his eyes. Mei Gan pointed at the black woman and whispered, his mother. Steve followed Mei Gan to stand in the corner after hearing this. Mei Gan wanted to give this vampire an Oscar for Best Actress. What a good actor. At this moment, Bang Frost broke in with a group of vampires and took advantage of Blade's inattention and electrocuted Blade to the ground. Frost didn't notice Mei Gan and the other person in the corner. He hugged the black vampire and said to Blade frantically, "I thought you would be happy. You finally reunited with your mother. Do you want to?" Bang bang. Before Frost finished speaking, Steve was already impatient to turn the two vampires into ashes. "What a joke. You don't take us too seriously. I'm in a hurry." Mei Gan cursed, and a sledgehammer appeared in his hand. Like a ghost, his figure had already appeared beside several vampires. Bang bang. The sledgehammer was swung, and a vampire was smashed against the wall by the sledgehammer, and then turned into ashes and scattered. Frost looked at the two people who suddenly appeared, and hurriedly hugged the black woman and retreated. He looked at Mei Gan, who was slaughtering vampires like chickens in panic. Where did Blade find this strong man? Hasn't he always been alone? Fuck you, a daywalker, have learned to form a team. How can our noble blood clan survive in the future? After a few breaths, all the men that Frost brought with him had been killed by Mei Gan. Bug, you were the one who was whining just now, and you even asked those pro-ghost people who didn't want to be human to come to my store to collect protection fees. You are so damn arrogant. Mei Gan walked in front of Frost, patted his pale face and said, "Sir, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I can double the protection fee they charge. I have plenty of money." As soon as Mei Gan started to move, Frost knew that he couldn't deal with this person now. What should he do? He could only pretend to be his grandson. Also, when did I ask people to collect protection fees? It must be that group of damn bastards who took the initiative to attract this powerful enemy. You are rich, right? Do you look down on me because I have no money? Do you look down on me, Bug? Mei Gan kicked Frost against the wall, cursing, "I hate you guys who pretend to be rich in front of me the most." At this time, Steve came to Mei Gan with the blade. "Steve, you guys go and kill the one that slipped through the net first. I'll take care of this here," Mei Gan said to the two of them. "Mei, I'll take care of this guy," Blade said at this time. "Are you still okay now?" Mei Gan asked, after looking Blade up and down. "No problem." Blade broke free from Steve's hand and straightened his body and replied, "How about this? Steve, you take charge here. I'll take care of the above." Mei Gan patted Steve on the shoulder. "Okay, Mei, go ahead," Steve said as he retreated to the door and looked at Blade in the room. "Hurry up. Let's finish it early," Mei Gan muttered as he walked out of the room. Holy shield. Holy light descended. A golden transparent light shield enveloped Mei Gan, and several golden shields could be seen to be slowly rotating on the light shield. Holy shield. Skill of the human paladin. The paladin shrouds himself in an impenetrable light barrier, thus protecting him from any physical and magical damage for 45 seconds. When the enemy unit touches the light barrier, it will incur burning damage, and the amount of damage depends on the magic power. The interval between uses is 1 hour. In the game, the interval between uses has been changed from 60 seconds to 1 hour, and there is an additional burning damage. Invincibility is on. Turn to ashes. Bugs. Boom, Mei Gan whispered, and his body soared into the sky like a cannonball, opening a big hole in the ceiling. The moment the big hole was opened, a stream of water flowed down from the hole. It turned out that there was a swimming pool above. Several naked female vampires were looking at Mei Gan, who fell to the ground in surprise. Mei Gan's eyes were shining as he glanced at the vampires in the swimming pool. His figure is not as good as Audrey's, and he still wants to use seduction. Who knows that he will suddenly appear without thinking carefully. After a complaint, Mei Gan approached them quickly without giving a group of vampires time to react. The golden light flashed like a stream of light. Bang, bang. Before the vampires could react, they exploded like firecrackers, turning into ashes and dissipating in the air. After a few breaths, Mei Gan's figure appeared in the distance, and his magic power dispersed. He sensed that there were no more vampires. There is another one, a woman, Mei Gan whispered, and flashed like lightning. When he returned to the original place again, he was holding a black woman in his hand. "Hey, woman, who are you?" Mei Gan asked, after putting the black woman on the ground. "Kayleen, who are you?" Kayleen fell to the ground. Her legs were weak, and she almost fell. After she stood up again, she replied, "You are the girlfriend of Blade's oil bottle. Do you know Eric? Is he okay? Where is he?" Kayleen heard Mei Gan's words and asked hurriedly, "He's fine. He's downstairs now. Let's go." I've cleaned up here. I'll take you downstairs, Mei Gan said, and turned to walk downstairs. A moment later, the two had arrived at the door of the white room. Is it done? Steve asked when he saw Mei Gan coming down. It's done, but this guy is still fighting, Mei Gan said as he heard the bang bang sound in the room. He didn't even think about how fast he was, and the holy shield on his body hadn't dissipated yet. Steve rolled his eyes at the guy, who was pretending to be a cup of wine, and said, "We just started fighting, and he just said a lot of words. There's nothing I can do. They've consumed too many books of agility, and these people just can't change the habit of talking before fighting." Mei Gan spread his hands and said something Steve couldn't understand. Looking at the two people who were slashing at each other, Mei Gan looked disgusted. He urged Blade, "Eric, if you don't hurry up, I'm going to lose the holy light." "Right away," Blade replied, and increased the strength in his hands, forcing Frost to dodge backwards. Frost was already sweating profusely, and Blade had kicked him several times. After a few rounds, Blade's long knife swept across, and Frost suddenly stopped in place, as if he was hit by a spell. Slowly, his whole body was turning into ashes and dissipating. "Mom, you should go with him too." Dao Feng walked up to his mother, ignored her pleading eyes, thrust the long knife in his hand forward, turned around and left with the knife. P.S. Please recommend and collect. Chapter 33 Daily Life. Early in the morning, the weather turned cold, and the homeless people in the Big Apple were curled up and shivering in the corners of the streets or alleys. As a big country, homeless people can be seen everywhere on the streets. It has to be said that this is a tragedy. On the second floor of the flower shop, Mei Gan was holding Audrey and sleeping soundly, and Han Long curled up and slept on the carpet. Audrey's belly was already very big, and the due date was in the next few days. Cold weather is the best time to sleep in. After a while, Mei Gan opened his eyes, wiped the corners of his eyes, and then got up carefully and changed clothes. He walked gently to Audrey's side, kissed Audrey's forehead, and then Mei Gan went to wash and make breakfast. Mei Gan downloaded a Chinese menu for pregnant women and made it for Audrey every day. In a few months, Audrey's face was obviously fatter, which made Audrey very crazy recently. She shouted every day that she wanted to go to the gym to lose weight, but Mei Gan stopped her. Just kidding, she was pregnant with a baby. How could she let her mess around? At the same time, Mei Gan also became fat. Audrey didn't eat much, and the rest went into Mei Gan's stomach, making Mei Gan have a little belly. Fortunately, he could use magic to make the belly disappear at any time, but considering Audrey's feelings, Mei Gan still didn't take action. About an hour later, Mei Gan made breakfast and went to the bedroom to wake up Audrey. "Honey, the baby is kicking me, look." Audrey, who was woken up by Mei Gan, suddenly opened her shirt, and her bulging belly appeared in front of Mei Gan. It was obvious that a bulge on the white belly was moving. "The little guy has been kicking mommy recently. He must be naughty and active since he was born." Mei Gan stretched out his hand to touch it, but realized that his hand was too cold, so he retracted it. "Honey, go wash up quickly, it's time to eat breakfast." Mei Gan leaned over and kissed Audrey, saying softly, "Okay." After breakfast, Mei Gan took Audrey to the park next door for a walk, followed by the little chicken and the red dragon. "Hey, Mei, Audrey, are you taking another walk?" After walking a short distance, they saw Banner, wearing a black suit, greeting the two. "Yes, Banner, I'm going to work." Mei Gan smiled and looked at Banner, who was walking towards his car. Banner has been complaining recently that he has sold himself to Tony, but he doesn't know that he lives a much better life than the one in Mei Gan's previous life movie. He doesn't have to hide from place to place, and he doesn't have to worry about the Hulk coming out all the time. With Betty's company, the two are ready to get married, and they have an easy job, but most of the salary has to be returned to Tony every month. Fortunately, he still has Betty's salary. Recently, Betty, Audrey, and Pepper have a good relationship. They always make appointments to go shopping and chat together. Audrey, who often goes over the wall to China, also taught the two some tricks that Chinese wives use to deal with their own men, such as limiting pocket money. So, recently, when Mei Gan and his friends were drinking, Tony always paid the bill. There was nothing they could do. Mei Gan was too stingy. Banner's daily allowance was only $50, while Steve was the owner of a bar on this street, so only Mei Gan and his friends would go there. A month ago, Tony had moved here with Pepper and would only go back to the beach villa occasionally. In front, Steve was jogging in his sportswear, and Linda was following him. Linda was jogging, and her headlights were shaking up and down. She was out of breath, and she must have been exhausted. Since she knew that Steve would jog every morning, she shamelessly followed him. Evely also followed him, but she didn't have enough perseverance, so she didn't come. After running for a few days, it seemed that she had given up. Linda persisted for a month. It seemed that she was really determined to pursue Steve. She was not discouraged by Steve's identity, and she became more enthusiastic. I don't know how it went, but Linda's figure is getting better and better. Across the street, Steve and Linda waved to the two and continued their morning run. Moving forward, in the most luxurious house, Tony was watering the flowers planted by Chili Pepper with a water gun. "Hey, man, my godson will be able to come out in a few days to meet his wise and handsome godfather," Tony said with a smile when he saw Mei Gan and the others. "Tony, when did I ever promise you to be my child's godfather?" Mei Gan rolled his eyes and replied, "Are you going to refuse? You know, there are so many people in the world who want me to be their godfather. This is an honor that you can't even ask for." Tony was bragging again. Mei Gan turned his back to Audrey and raised the international sign to Tony. "Rude guy," Tony cursed with a smile. Holding Audrey's hand, Mei Gan ignored Tony. This has been a daily morning routine in the past month. This kind of life almost made Mei Gan forget that this is Marvel. The two people and the two beasts ran wild in the park for more than half an hour, and then returned the same way. Behind Mei Gan and the other two, the chick and the red dragon were not happy with each other. Since they left home in the morning, the two beasts have been glaring at each other, refusing to give in. It was unknown whether the two beasts were glaring at each other or not. Since the red dragon was summoned, the chick had stopped targeting Audrey and had pointed its spearhead at the red dragon. Whenever the two summoned beasts met, they would definitely fight against each other. Now, the two were arguing again. "Red lizard, don't get too close to the big sister, you ugly guy will scare the baby." Seeing the red dragon approach Audrey a little, the chick was not very happy. He quickly ran to the red dragon and knocked it aside, staring at it with his cross eyes. "Mistress, look, the little turkey is bullying the dragon again, just because I came later." The red dragon did not refute the chick this time, but flapped his wings and flew in front of Audrey, squeezing out a few tears to cry to Audrey. There was a sly look in his eyes. "Little chicken, you are still a little naive. You are fighting against a smart and wise red dragon like me." "I have a secret technique," complained. The little chicken stared at the back with his eyes wide open. Damn. This dragon has no moral principles. How can it complain? It's too insidious. Bang. Mei Gan hit the red dragon's head with a hammer and said with a sullen face, "You don't want to be a good dragon, but you want to learn from those sissy guys. Do you want to be a sissy dragon? Ha 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 ha, the phoenix is so funny, you red lizard," the little chicken said with one wing covering his belly and laughing wildly. The red dragon was stunned by Mei Gan's attack. "Why is the master going to teach me a lesson? My secret technique is invalid. That's not right. In the past, I could act like a spoiled child to the mistress. In the past, Mei Gan was not there, so it worked. Bang, as a female phoenix, you think you are happy to be so rude, right?" Mei Gan also hit the little chicken on the head. "Hehe, I'm dying of laughter, you little turkey." The red dragon saw this and fought back at the chick. "Pooh, pooh, you lizard, I'm a phoenix, a beautiful phoenix." The chick looked at Mei Gan with resentful eyes, ran away, flew to the red dragon and cursed. "I'm not a lizard either, I'm a dragon lizard turkey." The two beasts started another day of quarreling. Chapter 34 Superman Street. Morning. The sun has come out, adding a little warmth to this cold winter. Mei Gan put a plate of washed fruits on the table. "Honey, have some fruits." Audrey lay on the balcony lounge chair, basking in the sun, looking a little lazy. The little chicken heard that there was food in the physiotherapy center, flew up to the balcony from the other side, flapped its two short wings, and landed on the table, its two red eyes drooling at the crystal clear grapes. It wanted to eat, but was afraid of being scolded, so it had to circle around the fruit plate. The red dragon lay on the ground, looking at the little chicken with contempt. Muttered in his mouth, "Gourmet chicken, it's really embarrassing for the divine beast. Go away, wait until Audrey eats, then you can eat the rest." Mei Gan picked up the little chicken and threw it on the ground and said. The little chicken looked at Mei Gan in disbelief. This was his previous owner, the owner who often took him to Chinatown to eat snacks. "You have changed, boss, you have changed, so love will disappear, right?" The chicks could not accept this kind of blow. "I don't know, if I took out a wooden stick and long cloth from there, packaged into a package, and then took out a broken bowl from the back, and jumped into the balcony fence with wings. There was a trace of nostalgia and reluctance. "Scows you a trophy, Ode, let you see, so many cats and mice scolded, and hit a bunch of chickens again, and tears it in tears. Puchy. Okay, dear, stop bullying Xiaohan. Come, sister will give you some grapes. Don't pay attention to your stingy master." Audrey smiled and pushed away the dried plums, holding the chick in her arms and comforting her. While the chick was eating grapes, a hint of success flashed in his eyes. "No matter how smart your master is, you have to drink my foot washing water. Ah, these grapes are really delicious." Sure enough, they are the most delicious. It's worth getting punched twice. The red dragon stood up and was stunned. What a little turkey. Such a clever way of doing things, but he actually used the self-torture trick. "I want to give you a thumbs up. It seems that I still have to learn more, otherwise I can't compete with this guy. No, I can't let this turkey be exclusively favored by the mistress. I have to do something." The red baby's eyes rolled around, as if thinking of some bad ideas. After a while, red baby flew to Mei Gan's shoulder, clenched his two claws into fists, and gently tapped Mei Gan's shoulder, saying flatteringly, "Master, is this strength enough? You'd better sit down and rest. Don't pay attention to this little turkey. It's still young and ignorant. It's just joking with the master." Mei Gan held back his laughter and cooperated with interest. "Yeah. Very comfortable, red baby is still well behaved. Here's a date for you." After that, he picked up a green date and threw it into the red dragon's mouth. Hearing Mei Gan's praise, red baby's two big eyes curved into a crescent, making the dragon head, which was not very good looking, look even uglier. He glanced at the chick who was concentrating on dealing with grapes, and a trace of smugness flashed in his eyes. "Humph. In order to get a bite of food, you have to play a trick of self-torture. Look at this dragon. I can be fed by someone just by raising my hand. Good guy." The two beasts fighting for favor is like a palace fighting drama. I won't watch The Legend of Zenhuan without you two next time. Mei Gan and Audrey watched from the side and wanted to laugh. Downstairs, a truck was parked at the door next door. The passenger door opened, and a woman with red curly hair got out of the car. The woman was slim, with fair skin and a pretty face, but she was not tall. Natasha Romanoff, a level 8 agent of S.H.I.E.L.D, nicknamed Black Widow. Natasha looked up at Mei Gan and her boyfriend, who were showing their affection, with an envious look on her face. "Hi, Audrey," Natasha called downstairs. Audrey heard someone calling, and hurried to the guardrail and looked down. When she saw Natasha, a look of surprise immediately appeared on her face. "Natasha, why are you here?" "I'll go down now," Audrey said, and hurried downstairs. Mei Gan walked to the guardrail in confusion, and when he saw the woman, he immediately realized that it was Black Widow. "Hi." When Black Widow saw Mei Gan, she greeted her without any unfamiliarity. "Hi, Natasha, long time no see." At this time, Audrey, who had come downstairs, hurriedly gave Black Widow a warm hug. "Long time no see, Audrey. It seems you are very happy." After the two hugged, Black Widow looked at Audrey, whose complexion was better than ever, and said, "Thank you, you look good too. I don't have a man who loves me. How long will the baby take to be born?" "I want to prepare a gift for him," Natasha said, touching Audrey's bulging belly. "Soon, in a few days. Your gift must be indispensable. It seems that I took a vacation at the right time to see the baby as soon as possible." "What are you doing?" Seeing that there were already movers moving the furniture down from the truck, Audrey asked uncertainly. "Yes, it's what you think. We will be neighbors again in the future. Are you happy?" Of course, Audrey said, and hugged Natasha again. As the two most beautiful flowers in S.H.I.E.L.D, the two naturally have a very good relationship. Although the two are of different levels, it does not affect their relationship, not to mention that they are neighbors. The two had been on many missions together, and they had a tacit understanding. Natasha was the one who took action in each mission, and Audrey was the one who protected her behind the scenes. Looking at the two people hugging each other, Mei Gan, who had just come downstairs, felt a little jealous for some reason. Black Widow seemed to like men, so it was okay. Is the woman in your family so close to Black Widow? I have to ask her in the evening. By the way, what does Luden want to do? Are Steve and Black Widow arranged here to play the emotional card? Add Tony and Banner. This is Superman Street. Damn. With these people here, you still want to trouble them not to come. It's a blessing if they don't come often. Mei Gan guessed right. Luden wanted Steve and Black Widow to cultivate feelings with Mei Gan. If something really happened, someone would pull Mei Gan to help. Even Tony and Banner were secretly pushed by this bad-hearted Luden. The plan of the boiled egg can be said to be successful, or it can be said to be unsuccessful. After all, as long as you give enough money, Mei Gan can still make a move, for the sake of US dollars. After all, feelings are feelings. Money still needs to be earned, and brothers should settle accounts clearly. Natasha, this is my fiancé, Mei Gan. I believe you have seen his file. Seeing Mei Gan coming down, Audrey pulled Mei Gan to introduce him. Of course, I have to see who took down my good sister. Natasha smiled and looked at Mei Gan and replied. Now you see it. Let's go. There is a coffee brewing expert in Mei's shop. I will treat you to a drink. Audrey pulled Natasha to the physical therapy center. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. When did this affair begin? Night. The moon was bright in the sky, and the silvery moonlight sprinkled on the ground, as if the rows of roofs were painted with a layer of silvery white paint. Next to the physiotherapy center, the veteran tavern opened by Steve was brightly lit, and soft music was playing. A welcome party was being held in the tavern, to welcome Natasha to join this street. Uncle Kyan and Peter were also there, as well as Linda and Evely. The two girls have already joined this circle as family members. Sooner or later, Steve will accept Linda. After all, the girl chases a boy, and according to the love concept of the United States, Steve will not dislike Linda at that time. Recently, Evely and Kato have been flirting with each other, and I don't know how they fell in love, but Kato didn't come tonight. There was a joyful sound in the tavern, and everyone was toasting and drinking, so comfortable. At this time, the door of the tavern opened, and a tall, mature beauty walked into the tavern. The woman looked to be in her 40s, attracting everyone's attention. Hi, beauty, what do you want to drink? Steve, the owner of the tavern, came out and asked. I'm looking for someone, the beauty replied with a smile. Who are you looking for? Hey, Mei, why are you here? Peter helped Uncle Kyan out of the bathroom. Originally, Uncle Kyan didn't need his help, but Peter has been reading books from China recently, and he just learned to respect teachers, so no matter where Uncle Kyan goes, he will follow him. Uncle Kyan can't argue with him, so he just lets him do it. Peter, I'm not always here, Mei Gan asked, holding up a wine glass. Mei, my name is Aunt Mei. Peter pointed at the beauty at the door. Oh, okay. I forgot. Mei Gan scratched his hair, feeling that he was a little drunk. Peter, how could you let Kyan drink so much wine? Didn't I tell you that Kyan can't drink? Kyan, are you okay? At this time, Mei Parker noticed Uncle Kyan beside Peter, and hurriedly walked up to help Uncle Kyan together, and didn't forget to say a few words to Peter. Uncle Kyan's cheeks were red, but he was not drunk at all. As a person who has been in the underworld, how could he not have a good tolerance for alcohol? Why are you talking about children? I'm fine. I can drink a lot. Uncle Kyan patted Mei's hand and said. Still showing off, Mei rolled her eyes at Uncle Kyan. In the distance, a group of onlookers were watching with great interest. Mei Gan narrowed his eyes and looked carefully at Uncle Kyan and the other two. Damn. Uncle Kyan, this old guy, actually hooked up with his apprentice's aunt. When did this affair start? There was not even a rumor, Mei Gan said in a low voice. What nonsense, how can you say it's an affair? It's a free love relationship. Audrey patted Mei Gan on the shoulder and said. Yes, free love. Judging from the situation, Peter should have known about it a long time ago, and maybe he was the wingman. I'm sorry, everyone. Kyan can't drink anymore. I'll take him back first. Mei apologized to everyone. It's okay. Send Uncle Kyan back. Peter will go back too. He has to go to class tomorrow, and I'm going back with Audrey too. You guys continue to play music and drink. Mei Gan replied. Okay. Take Audrey back quickly. Don't tire my godson. Tony waved to Mei Gan. After Mei Gan finished speaking, he hugged Audrey and followed Uncle Kyan and the other two out. When they reached the door, a gust of cold wind blew, which made Mei Gan sober up immediately. Before crossing over, Mei Gan didn't drink much, and he just drank more recently with Steve and the others, so his alcohol tolerance was not very good. Mei Gan didn't want to use magic to force out the alcohol. If you have to pretend to drink, then why drink? You just drink the drunkenness. Mei, you and Peter can stay at my place tonight. Anyway, the brat won't sleep here. There are plenty of rooms. At this time, Uncle Kyan said to Mei, Parker and Peter. Okay. All up to you. Mei supported Uncle Kyan and replied. Uncle Kyan nodded after hearing this and ignored Mei Gan and the other two, and the three of them walked towards the physical therapy center. Behind them, Mei Gan and the other two looked at each other, smiled helplessly, and wanted to say hello to them, but who knew that Uncle Kyan, the old guy, was so impatient. Let's go back to. Dear, Audrey hooked Mei Gan's arm and walked towards the flower shop. Late at night, the street was dark and silent, with only the lights on in the Veterans Tavern. At this moment, the sound of a roaring car engine came from the end of the quiet long street, accompanied by dense gunfire, which completely broke the quiet night on the long street. The sound made the voice-controlled street lights installed by Tony on both sides of the street light up at the same time, illuminating the long street. Several high beams appeared from the corner of the street, followed by a damaged black car that drove into the street quickly. 5 luxury cars followed the black car, and several heads popped out of the windows, holding a smoking submachine gun in their hands. Bang bang. The gunfire rang out like firecrackers in the night sky, waking up the people who were sleeping, and they might be greeted by raging flames. But they didn't know it yet, and as the trigger was pulled, every gunman was laughing crazily. One of the gunmen was holding a pistol, and each shot accurately hit the tire of the black car in front. His crazy expression was like a psychopath who had just escaped from a mental hospital, or maybe he was. Fortunately, the tire of the black car soon swelled up again after it burst, as if it had never been hit by a bullet. Veteran Tavern. The glass door was pushed open. Steve walked out with Natasha, Tony and Banner. The slightly red-faced people stared at the cars approaching quickly with cold eyes. GG. The black car came in front of the people, braked suddenly, and stopped there. At this time, 5 luxury cars surrounded the black car in an instant. More than a dozen guns were pointed at the front of the car. Hey, run. Why don't you run, Green Hornet, the hero of justice? The mentally ill patient walked up with a pistol and shouted, Catcher. Several people got out of the 5 luxury cars again. In the middle of the group was a tall and sturdy man, holding a cane and smoking a cigar. His fierce face was intimidating, and he looked at the black car calmly. To the left of the man was a leather-clad woman with a stern or somewhat dull look, and behind the woman was a red-faced man with a sinister look, looking at the people at the door of the tavern unscrupulously. To the right of the sturdy man was a short and fat man, with 4 mechanical tentacles extending from behind him, which were unconsciously retracting. The man was wearing a pair of red-rimmed glasses on his swollen face, and his eyes were flashing coldly under the lenses. At this time, a vibration sound came, and a black shadow ran towards the crowd. As the shadow ran, everyone could feel the vibration of the ground. Soon, the shadow appeared next to the short and fat man. It was a man with a rhino horn on his forehead. The man was wearing armor that looked like rhino skin, and his muscles were bulging. At a glance, it was clear that he contained powerful strength. Click. The door of the black car opened, and Kato got out of the car wearing a blindfold, holding a short stick in his hand. Kato pressed his finger lightly, and the short stick immediately turned into a long stick over 2 meters long. Kato played a few tricks with the stick, and pointed the long stick at Jinbing and his men. Chapter 36. I have the final say on this street. Under the night sky, on the long street as bright as day, Kato held a long stick, and felt very calm. We have already arrived at Kanje's territory. How can we lose when flying dragons are riding on our faces? Not to mention that the captain, Iron Man and a beautiful agent are standing behind us. If you dare to touch me, you will taste the taste of death. I don't want to think about it anymore. I'll pretend first. This action should be very handsome! Exclamation mark. Kato had a blank expression on his face, but he was already very happy in his heart. Evely should be looking at me, ha 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 ha. But he didn't know that Evely had already drunkenly fallen on the table in the tavern. How could she be aware of him pretending to be cool? Britt got out of the car and hid behind Kato quietly. The pistol in his hand did not make him feel safe at all. His shaking legs were the best proof. As a rich second generation, when had he ever experienced such a scene? Being pointed at by more than a dozen guns was okay, but the most important thing was that those guys with deformed appearances were not easy to mess with at first glance. Has anyone seen the guy who is still wearing armor, and the short fat bald man with several mechanical arms? It's over. I guess I'm going to die with Kato tonight. I don't know if I can surrender now. It's better for one person to survive. Someone will have to buy a cemetery in the future. It can only be me. It's Kato's fault that he has no money. Kingpin walked forward with a cane, looked at Kato with sharp eyes, and then slowly said, "Green Hornet, you self-righteous vigilantes, I didn't care when you went to fight other gangsters before. Today you actually ran to my territory and made trouble, and hurt my son. You'd better commit suicide, otherwise you won't even have a complete body left." Kingpin was very angry. He had gone to dinner with his wife and children tonight and just went back to the company to get some things. Who knew that these two young men would actually set their sights on him? He didn't want to care about it at first, and just left it to the rhino. 2 salted fish are not as important as spending time with his family. However, an accident happened. Just as he walked downstairs, the 2 young men accidentally hurt his son while running away. At that moment, Kingpin was furious. He hurriedly sent his son to the hospital, and then gathered people, vowing to cut the 2 guys into pieces. A gangster should do what he said. Knowing that the 2 guys ran into this forbidden street, he still chased them. As long as he gave tens of millions to the boss of the physiotherapy center, it would be fine. After all, I heard that the guy was a money grubber. Besides, who knows if the so-called boss can beat the group of people behind me. Kingpin was inflated. Since he knew that there were superpowers in this world, Kingpin has been recruiting people in secret. Superpowers also need to eat. Kingpin has nothing else, but he still has some money. At this time, Steve took Natasha to Kato, and Tony went home to get the armor. As for Banner, he should go back to the tavern. After all, this place is so close to Mei Gan's physiotherapy center. If he accidentally scratches the physiotherapy center, he will really be finished. Why do you want to bully the few with your numbers? Besides, this street is not something you can easily step into. Steve stopped Kato, who wanted to speak, and said to Kingpin, "You are the owner of that physical therapy center. I heard that he is a Chinese, and you are obviously not." Kingpin looked at Steve and said, "I'm indeed not." "Then there is nothing to say. Get out of the way, or you will go to see the god of death with them," Kingpin said, and nodded to Bullseye, who was looking at this side. Bullseye received the order, laughed wildly, and ordered the gunman, "Let's have fun, boys." As soon as Bullseye finished speaking, countless bullets shot out from the barrel, pouring towards the 4 people like raindrops. At the same time, Tony arrived in time wearing the Mark armor and holding a shield, and landed in front of several people, blocking all the bullets. The bullets hit the Mark armor and sparked, but did not hurt several people at all. "Fuck. Why are you making so much noise in the middle of the night? Can't we sleep well?" On the second floor of the flower shop, a window opened, and Mei Gan poked his head out and cursed at everyone. The curses immediately overwhelmed the sound of gunfire. Upon hearing this, Jinbing raised his hand to let his men stop shooting. Looking at Mei Gan, who poked his head out, he knew that this was the Chinese. "Sir, we have no intention of breaking into your territory tonight, but these two people hurt my son, so I will leave as soon as I catch them, and then I will give 20 million as an apology," Jinping said to Mei Gan. Mei Gan did not answer after hearing this. He jumped down from the second floor in his pajamas and looked at the group of uninvited guests. Mei Gan was wearing a pair of cotton shoes on his feet, like an ordinary citizen throwing garbage at night. He first nervously looked at his own physiotherapy clinic and was relieved when he saw that there was no problem with the physiotherapy clinic. He was now in a shadow, afraid that when he got up and looked up, he would see that his own physiotherapy clinic had collapsed again. "Who do you think you are, Kingpin, the underground emperor of New York?" Mei Gan looked at the tall man and recognized him at a glance. He walked up to Kingpin in his cotton shoes and poked his belly and said angrily, "Ugh. I couldn't reach his chest, so I could only poke his belly. I was going to sleep late tonight, and I was woken up just when I fell asleep. Anyone would be angry, and I woke up Audrey. Audrey was pregnant and her sleep quality was not good. I finally fell asleep, and I don't know how long it will take for her to fall asleep again." This made Mei Gan very distressed. You say Mei Gan can't be angry. This is not something that can be solved with money, and Kingpin is still chasing Kato. Boss looked at Kingpin being insulted like this, and the Rhino Man stared with his eyes as big as copper bells, shouted angrily, clenched his fists, and his body was ready to move. If Kingpin gave an order, he would smash this dwarf into a meat pie. Kingpin raised his hand to stop the Rhino Man, patted his belly that Mei Gan had poked and said calmly, "Sir, I don't want to be your enemy, not because I'm afraid of you. I'm just a businessman, and I want to make money in harmony, but if you are so ignorant, then there is nothing to talk about. Although New York is my territory, I can't guarantee that anything bad will happen to you or your friends." He showed off his muscles and threatened Mei Gan again. "Hey. Threatening me, my god. I'm so scared. Tony, take them away first. I'll take care of this." Mei Gan pretended to be scared and patted his chest, but the murderous intent in his eyes was very strong. He turned around and gave some instructions to Tony and others. He turned around and said to Kingpin and others again, "Kingpin, I have the final say on this street. The guys who ran wild on this street before were sent to see their god by me. Today you are no exception. You all have to stay here. No one can help. I said so." After saying these harsh words, Mei Gan was about to take action. At this time, Steve and the others disagreed. Steve took the shield given by Tony, walked to Mei Gan, patted him on the shoulder and said, "Mei, we are also residents of this street. You watch first. We are not vegetarians either." Mei Gan looked at the serious faces of the few people, thought for a while and replied, "Okay. Leave those gunmen to me," Natasha said, pulling out 2 pistols from somewhere. "Leave the short and fat man to me. I want to see if his tentacles are flexible." Tony looked at the tentacles behind the short and fat man with shining eyes, wondering what he thought of. "That Rhino Man is mine," said Steve. "Very good. Leave the remaining 4 people to me." Uncle Khan came to the crowd at some point and said slowly, "Uncle Master, leave that psychopath to me," Kato said to Uncle Khan. "Okay." Uncle Khan nodded when he heard it. Chapter 37. Uncle Khan is the protagonist. On the long street, there was a solemn and murderous atmosphere. The moon in the sky seemed to have sensed something and had hidden itself. Kingpin frowned. He really didn't want to be enemies with Mei Gan. He heard that if this Chinese got angry, he could drag the whole of New York to his grave. He had seen the video, but it had come to this point. There was no more room for negotiation. He had to take action. After thinking, Kingpin waved to the people behind him. He was not an indecisive person. If they couldn't come to an agreement, then let's fight. Dada. The gunshots rang out again. Natasha rushed out like a civet cat, firing a shot from time to time while running, and a gunman on the opposite side would be shot and fall down. The Rhino clenched his fists, hammered his fists against each other, and looked at Steve, who had just pointed at him fiercely. "Come on, bastards." The Rhino roared, and his body rushed towards Steve like a tank. Steve exhaled, and his calm heart was boiling with blood again. He hadn't fought for 70 years, and he missed such passionate days. He tightened the shield in his hand and rushed towards the rhino. Last time, he accompanied Mei Gan to fight soy sauce, and this time he had to stretch his muscles. Bang, the rhino's huge fist hit out, but was blocked by the shield in Steve's hand. But Steve's body did not retreat a step. Use more force, big guy. I'm not old. Yet Steve said a trash talk. His hands did not stop. He took off the shield, raised his right leg, and whipped the rhino's neck hard. Bang, the rhino was unstable and his body was knocked to the ground. Steve took advantage of the situation and attacked again before the rhino got up. Tony looked at the tentacle monster in front of him and said with interest, "Hey, friend, you have a good idea. You have satisfied several girls." "Oh, sorry, I forgot your appearance and figure. I guess no girl can satisfy you. You are really sad. Otherwise, you can tell me the principle of this tentacle and I will try it for you." Don't get me wrong. For Tony, who has the highest IQ, it only takes a little time for me to make your tentacle. I just don't want to waste my time, so I asked you to tell me. "Playboy, your mouth is really stinky," said Dr. Octopus harshly. He hates others discussing his appearance and figure the most. This foul-mouthed rich man doesn't let go of both. It's not his fault that he is short and ugly, and it's not his fault that he can't have a girlfriend. The mistake is that they don't find their own advantages. I'm the man they will never get. It's just self-consolation. Two tentacles quickly rushed out and grabbed Tony. Tony screamed, "Ouch. Such a big tentacle. I'm not a girl. You'd better not chase me," Tony said while driving the Mark armor to avoid the tentacles rushing towards him, and he did not forget to launch several missiles at Dr. Octopus in the air. On the other side, Kato has already fought with Bullseye. While dodging the objects thrown by Bullseye, Kato's figure approached Bullseye. Kato, who can slow down objects in front of him, is good at dodging hidden weapons. He shot down a bullet with the long stick in his hand, and his figure was not far from Bullseye. Kato swept the long stick in his hand and hit Bullseye's head. Bullseye leaned back to avoid the long stick, but unexpectedly, the shadow of the stick attacked again and stabbed Bullseye's chest fiercely. "Humph. I have learned so much from my uncle. How could I not make progress?" Kato muttered, and his hands moved faster. Bang bang. The long stick hit Bullseye from time to time. And here, Uncle Khan walked slowly to the girl in leather jacket with his cane. He didn't make any moves. Obviously, he was waiting for the girl to make the first move. The purple man hiding behind the girl looked at Uncle Khan with a sinister look and then said, "Jessica, kill this old guy." The girl rushed towards Uncle Khan immediately after hearing the order and punched him hard. Uncle Khan's cane passed by, blocking the white fist lightly. Jessica didn't care and punched Uncle Khan crazily. But Uncle Khan just moved casually, waved his cane, and resolved all the attacks. Suddenly, Uncle Khan frowned slightly, and his movement seemed to pause, but he came back to his senses in an instant. "Humph, little mouse hiding in the dark, I'll deal with you first," Uncle Khan said, while blocking Jessica's attack, while looking at the purple man. As the voice fell, Uncle Khan's figure gradually blurred, and then dissipated in the original place. It turned out to be a residual image. Uncle Khan's figure had already come to the side of the purple man. The purple man's hair stood up, and he backed away desperately, trying to distance himself from Uncle Khan. "Can you escape?" Uncle Khan's voice fell, and his figure approached again, playing with the purple man like a cat catching a mouse. Jessica chased after Uncle Khan, but was always a few points slower. "Okay, no more playing, old man. I'm going to be serious." After Uncle Khan finished speaking, his speed increased again. In the blink of an eye, he was already next to the purple man, swinging his guide stick. Bang, it didn't hit the purple man's head. Instead, it was the cane engine Bing's hand that emitted a blue laser to block Uncle Khan's guide stick. "Oh, can you save him?" Uncle Khan sneered, but saw that the purple man's body was slowly falling down, and white saliva was still coming out of his mouth. Not long after, he was silent. Obviously poisoned. "The old man is a Chinese medicine doctor," Uncle Khan explained, and slowly walked towards Jinbing. "Ah." With the death of the purple man, Jessica suddenly hugged her head, knelt on the ground, and screamed in pain. After a moment, Jessica woke up with red eyes, looking at the purple man on the ground with hatred. Then she looked at Uncle Khan with gratitude in her eyes. The moment she saw Uncle Khan's appearance, she immediately stood up again, came to Uncle Khan's side, and followed Uncle Khan without saying a word. Jessica's eyes were blank before, but now there was only Uncle Khan's figure. Mei Gan at the door of the tavern was stunned. This Uncle Khan has charmed another girl. Is it necessary to say so? Is Uncle Khan the legendary protagonist? This is too cruel, so envious. Banner next to Mei Gan also looked at Uncle Khan with envy, wishing that he had just beaten the purple man and won the beauty. If others knew, someone would probably tell him not to think about it. You don't have that kind of appearance. I guess Jessica would say to him, I'll repay him by working like a slave in my next life. Mei Gan and Banner watched with great interest. Originally, Mei Gan wanted to use a skill to send these people away, but Steve and the others wanted to put on a show, so Mei Gan followed their wishes. It would be a waste not to watch the show. After all, Mei Gan's anger had almost subsided. Mei Gan was relaxed as he ate the melon seeds Banner took out from the tavern. After all, he was in the upper hand now. Steve bought the melon seeds in Chinatown. He thought they were great, since he first tasted them at Mei Gan's house, so he prepared some melon seeds and peanuts, just right for drinking. At this time, the gunshots had stopped. It turned out that Natasha had dealt with the gunman, and was walking to the two of them with a relaxed look on her face. Chapter 38. Everyone is showing off. In front of the tavern, there were already a pile of corpses lying scattered around. These were all done by Natasha. The other people were still fighting fiercely. Over here, Steve and the rhino were fighting like barbarians. In addition, the rhino had thick skin and flesh, so Steve's several attacks could not hurt him. And it was difficult for the rhino to hurt Steve. After all, he was not as flexible as Steve. The two of them should not be able to decide the winner so quickly, and it is estimated that they will fight for a whole day. After all, he was the legendary 50-50 boss, and the shield in his hand was not the original one. Seeing that no matter how he attacked, he could not hurt the rhino, Steve shouted to Mei Gan, Mei, give me a weapon. Steve knew that Mei Gan must have a weapon he could use. After all, the magical Mei always took out items from nowhere. What kind of weapon do you want? Mei Gan replied, while cracking melon seeds. Whatever, as long as I can hurt this guy avoiding the collision of the rhino horn. Steve took the time to reply. Upon hearing this, Mei Gan hurriedly searched in the system backpack. There were a lot of weapons. After all, the lottery had been going on for more than 5 years, but he didn't know what weapon to give to Steve. Hey, this one will do. After searching in the backpack for a while, Mei Gan took out a strange looking broadsword that was completely black, with only white lines on the blade. It should be considered a broadsword. It looked like a serrated knife, with irregular serrations on both edges. Mei Gan didn't want to use this ugly broadsword at all. It had been gathering dust for 2 years since it was drawn, and it had been drawn for 2 consecutive days. Can you believe how much the system despised my appearance and had to give me 2 ugly broadswords? This is the weapon of the wild monster demon guard in the game. The system draws it with the passive skill split attack. Each attack will cause 25% damage to enemy units around the main target, with a range of 5 meters. Catch it. Be careful, it's a bit heavy. Mei Gan threw the broadsword to Steve. Steve reached out to catch it immediately after hearing that. He felt his hand sink. The knife weighed about 100 kilograms. However, this force was acceptable to him. Steve didn't have time to look at the knife. He held the knife in his right hand and chopped it down at the rhino man who was rushing towards him. Swish, the knife cut the horn on the top of the rhino man's head into like cutting tofu, and the rhino man continued to rush forward. Good knife. Steve looked at the broken horn on the ground and couldn't help but admire it. Damn guy, you broke my most beautiful horn. I'm going to skin you alive. The rhino man touched the broken horn on his head and roared angrily. After that, he picked up a car beside him and smashed it at Steve, who was approaching him. Because he rushed too fast and too close, there was no way to avoid the car. Steve could only throw away the shield in his hand and chop at the car with both hands. When the knife in his hand hit the car, Steve felt as if there was no obstacle and passed through the middle of the car. Bang bang with 2 loud noises, the car was split into 2 halves, falling heavily to the ground, splashing dust all over the ground. The The Rhino Man who had already approached Steve screamed, and the severe pain made the Rhino Man stop his body from charging forward. A long wound appeared on the Rhino Man's chest, as if it was cut by a big knife. A lot of blood was rushing out of the wound. "Fuck, Mei, your knife is so cool." Steve looked at the wound of the Rhino in front of him and shouted excitedly. When Mei Gan heard this, he looked at the big knife in Steve's hand with disdain. "You say such an ugly weapon is cool, it has lowered your temperament. Do you still have aesthetics? That's right, you are a retired veteran. You don't know the aesthetics of a hammer. Steve, hurry up and solve it. What time is it? I really want to fight until tomorrow." Mei Gan shouted dissatisfiedly. "It'll be done soon." Seeing that the Rhino was about to be solved, Mei Gan no longer paid attention to Steve. He turned his head to look at Kato, and just saw Kato use the long stick in his hand to knock Bullseye to the ground. But Bullseye could no longer stand up, and could only struggle to hold the ground, with strands of blood sliding from his head. "Goodbye, bad boy who litters things." Kato raised the steel stick to his head and smashed it hard on Bullseye's head. Bang, that scene was really disgusting. "Fuck. Kato, you bastard, do you have any hygiene? Aren't you disgusting?" Mei Gan saw a burst of dry retching, and then pointed at Kato and cursed. For Mei Gan, a wizard fan, every time he killed someone, he burned him to ashes. As a wizard who loves the environment, seeing this situation is very contemptuous and disgusting. Kato could no longer hear what Mei Gan said. He was squatting in a trash can beside him and vomiting happily. It's not like he had never killed people before, but this was the first time he was so bloody. Just now, he was just hot-headed and smashed it directly. Now he regrets it very much. Mei Gan didn't want to see this scene, and turned to look at Uncle Khan. Mei Gan turned his head, and saw that Uncle Khan and Jessica were forcing Kingpin into a corner. After wiping his eyes, Mei Gan was not wrong. They were forced into a corner and the two guys were beating Kingpin unilaterally. "You punched me, and I hit him with a stick. If it weren't for Kingpin's amazing physique, he would have gone to see God now." Beside Mei Gan, Natasha, who had just answered the phone, whispered to Mei Gan, "Mei, the director asked you to spare Kingpin's life, and he will be responsible for all the losses. How is it possible? The guy who disturbed Audrey's rest must go to hell to repent." The director said 20 million. Why is Ludin so generous? There is something fishy. Mei Gan looked at Natasha suspiciously. When Natasha heard Mei Gan's address, she reported to Nick Fury with a smile. The director said 50 million deal. Your director made a fortune. Kingpin must have more than that. Mei Gan rubbed his hands excitedly, knowing that someone must have called Nick, and he knew without thinking that it was Kingpin's backer. Anyway, he made money. He didn't care about Kingpin's life or death. Anyway, after this night, he didn't dare to come again. "Mei, are you sure you don't want to save my boss? When he goes to see God, I will be unemployed at this time." Banner patted Mei Gan's shoulder and pointed at Tony, who was controlled by Dr. Octopus. 3 tentacles wrapped around the Mark armor, and the short and fat doctor was punching Tony, who had no head armor. Looking at the posture, he was determined to beat Tony into a pig's head. It seems that Tony's foul mouth just now must have ridiculed Dr. Octopus too harshly. Tony was too proud to call for help, and now he became like this. The main reason is that the armor on Tony is portable, thin, and has few weapons. As long as the ammunition is used up, he can only fight hand to hand. Just now Tony was in the mood to talk foul again, and he was controlled by mistake, so he could only passively take the beating. Now Tony is socially dead. After all, everyone else is beating others, only he is being beaten. He has planned to hide in the villa for a few months. He is too embarrassed to see anyone. This, wasn't he fine just now, and even destroyed one of Dr. Octopus's tentacles? How come he was beaten into this state all of a sudden? Mei Gan said in a lost voice, while looking at Tony with wide eyes. This is really, everyone is showing off, only Tony is being beaten. Chapter 39, Witchcraft. Mei Gan looked at Tony, who was being beaten, and was speechless. Why can't you call for help? This is too shameless. This beating is for nothing. Witchcraft. Mei Gan stood up and pointed at Dr. Octopus. A green light flashed and fell on Dr. Octopus. The green light squirmed on Dr. Octopus' body. In an instant, Dr. Octopus disappeared from the spot, and a white little sheep appeared where he stood. Witchcraft. The skill of the orc hero Shadow Hunter, used on a target with a lower magic power than the caster, transforms the target into a random small animal. The movement speed of the target is reduced, and cannot cause actual damage. The duration is 45 seconds, and the casting interval is 7 minutes. Compared with the skills in the game, there is still a big difference. First of all, the restriction on magic power lower than the caster does not exist in the game. But for Mei Gan, it is the same, whether it exists or not. Who in this world can compare with his magic power? In fact, Mei Gan likes this skill very much. After all, you can send green light to others during the casting phase, making others surrounded by green light. It is a very natural skill. Bang, as Mei Gan's skills were released, Tony lost the control of Dr. Octopus and suddenly fell to the ground. Tony felt a burning pain on both sides of his cheeks, and his head was a little dizzy. He probably had a concussion. Shaking his head, Tony kicked the little lamb on the ground several meters away, then stretched out his right hand, with his palm facing the little lamb on the ground. The little lamb transformed by Dr. Octopus was full of fear in his eyes. He stood up desperately, slid his limbs, and tried to escape. But the magic limited his speed, like a turtle, moving slowly. Bang! Tony did not show any mercy. A white light came out from his palm and hit the little lamb, directly knocking the little lamb more than 10 meters away. There was a huge wound on his body, covered with burn marks. He was no longer breathing. After more than 10 seconds, the green light squirmed again, and the little lamb regained the appearance of Dr. Octopus, but he had gone to see God, or maybe to hell. The only ones who followed Kato into the long street tonight were Jessica and Kingpin. Jessica has woken up and has been following Uncle Kyan. It seems that she is going to rely on Uncle Kyan. Kingpin has been knocked unconscious by Uncle Kyan with drugs and is waiting for Luden to call someone to take him away. By the way, the corpse on the ground is to be taken away. For S.H.I.E.L.D, Dr. Octopus and Rhino are still worth studying. Mei, I'll give it back to you. Steve came to Mei Gan and reluctantly handed the big knife in his hand to Mei Gan. Mei Gan first looked at the big knife in front of him with disdain and did not take the big knife. He put his arm around Steve's shoulder and asked with a smile, "Steve, is this knife easy to use?" "Of course," Steve replied after a pause. "Do you want it? Just make a phone call and it will be yours from now on," Mei Gan said, pointing at the big knife in Steve's hand. "Agree quickly. As long as you agree, you can cheat Nick Fury again. Anyway, he has embezzled a lot of money. It is not too much for him to give me a share." The smile on Mei Gan's face is more and more like a fox. "Mei, what you said is true. Just make a phone call." Steve looked at Mei Gan in disbelief. This kind of artifact can be exchanged for just one phone call. It is really hard to believe. If Mei Gan knew that Steve called this big knife artifact, he would definitely sneer. The weapons on this kind of wild monsters are already several levels lower than the weapons on the heroes. They can't be called artifacts at all, and this kind of weapon appears very frequently in the lottery. Now Mei Gan has dozens of them on him, and Mei Gan doesn't know how to deal with them. Isn't it good to exchange them for money? It is a weapon with a passive skill like split attack, not an active skill. This kind of equipment from the system, even if S.H.I.E.L.D is given hundreds of years to study, it will not be understood, and as long as Mei Gan has a thought, this big knife can be directly destroyed. "Really, Steve, you can do it now. Tell me who to call." Steve put down the big knife in his hand, took out the old phone, and asked Mei Gan, "Call Nick and tell him that you like one of my weapons, and ask him to pay." Mei Gan said with a smile. "Pay?" Steve, who was dialing the number, stopped immediately, looking at Mei Gan in disbelief. "Why didn't I think of it? This stingy guy can be so nice and give me a weapon directly. It turns out that I still need money to buy it. No, Mei, Nick doesn't owe me anything. How can I ask him to pay?" "Hey, Steve, you have to know that if something happens in the future, Nick will definitely ask you to help. Don't you have weapons? Are the weapons provided by S.H.I.E.L.D? Isn't your shield also provided by Tony's father?" Mei Gan was still fooling Steve. "How can it be the same? Howard gave it to me to solve the Hydra problem. I don't want it back now. How can it be different? Let me tell you. There will be criminals like today in the future. Doesn't that mean you need to take action? Then it will be the same as before. The shield should be returned to you. Seeing that Steve was still thinking, Mei Gan didn't wait for him to reply and continued to fool him. Oh, don't think about it, you. Mei, you don't have to say it anymore. How much is it? I don't know. When Nick Fury, the boiled egg, appeared on the scene, he looked at Mei Gan, who was fooling Steve with a dark face. His face was dark and it was night, so he couldn't really tell. Hey, boiled egg. No, Nick, when did you come? Mei Gan looked at Nick Fury with a surprised face. He was so engrossed in fooling Steve that he didn't notice that the boiled egg came just when you kept calling me boiled egg. Mei, please call me Nick. You should be polite. Also, how much is your weapon? Nick Fury pointed at the big knife in Steve's hand and asked. Ahem. Let me tell you, Nick, this knife is a divine weapon, and it also has a splitting effect. It is the most powerful weapon in the world. Give it to Steve. No matter how many people there are, a single cut will knock down a large group of people around. This weapon is very. Mei Gan was like a salesman, gesturing as he spoke. Compared to your last sledgehammer. Even stronger. Nick said without waiting for Mei Gan to finish. Ahem. How can they be compared? That sledgehammer can't even cut people. Mei Gan coughed dryly when asked, and answered casually. 20 million deal. Mei Gan was stunned when he heard this. He got 20 million just like that. This is too easy. I thought he was still going to fool people. Do you want to sell another crappy weapon? When the time comes, I will hit Audrey's card together with a 50 million. Nick, let me discuss with you. You don't have to hit Audrey's card. She doesn't care about these things. Just hit my card. Damn. This insidious bastard wants to wipe out my private money again. No, I'm too lazy to remember your card number. Goodbye, profiteer. Nick said harshly and was about to leave. Hey, wait, Nick, I have another weapon like this. Do you want it? Mei Gan shouted to Nick, who was about to get in the car. No, thank you. Nick left without looking back. TSK. How stingy. It's just 70 million for you. Mei Gan muttered dissatisfiedly. PS. Please vote. Chapter 40. Can't learn. Can't learn. Looking at Nick's taillights, Mei Gan despised this stingy guy in his heart. He didn't think that he was even more stingy than Nick Fury. Hey, where's Tony? Mei Gan was about to tease Tony Stark, but he couldn't find him. Teasing Tony is Mei Gan's life pleasure. The boss has taken Miss Potts back. I heard that he went directly back to the beach villa, Banner explained beside him. Hey, this guy just left without saying hello. How rude. You want to tease him, but you don't allow him to leave first. Are you polite? Banner looked at Mei Gan with contempt. If he couldn't beat this guy, Banner would definitely ridicule him. Besides, Steve didn't know when he found a piece of white cloth and wiped the big knife like he was caressing a lover. Mei Gan was so scared that goosebumps were about to fall to the ground. Did he become like this because he didn't catch up with the dance? Poor Steve. At the trash can, Kato had finished vomiting and was about to go back with his partner, Baby Brit. Kato, who was in a bad mood, said goodbye to everyone and left directly. At the entrance of the physiotherapy center, Uncle Kyan was quietly taking Jessica into the physiotherapy center. Mei Gan and everyone stared at the backs of the two. Uncle Kyan was having a lot of fun. He even dared to take Jessica back, and he was not afraid of a fight. By the way, Peter was still upstairs with his Aunt May. Why didn't he pay attention to the impact? Teach high school students bad things. I can't learn it. I can't learn it. Mei Gan shook his head and walked towards the flower shop. I'd better go back to sleep. I really made a lot of money tonight. Hey, why is it suddenly a bit cold? Somewhere underground in New York. My lord, the target location has been explored, and it is expected that the target will be excavated in 7 days. A member of the Hand in a red ninja suit walked into the conference room and said to the 5 people sitting in the seats. 5 Fingers smiled with surprise when they heard it. Okay, speed up, just in case you don't have any actions recently. Alexandra put away her smile and ordered. Yes, the red ninja turned around and left. Gayo, get Ikan ready. We will leave the country as soon as we find the fossils and come back after the Chinese goes to the underworld." Hearing Alexandra's words, the other four fingers nodded seriously. The Chinese is too strong, and it is not suitable to be his enemy. When he dies, we can go to his grave to dance. Anyway, he can't survive us. The next day, early in the morning, in the second half of last night, it suddenly snowed lightly. When Mei Gan got up in the morning, he saw the streets were covered with snow, and the traces left last night were covered with snow. Nick was cheated of 70 million last night, and he was in a bad mood. He didn't immediately ask someone to clean up the traces of the fight last night. The king of agents also has childish moments, such as the box of bear biscuits. Looking at the white outside, the usual walk was put on hold. Mei Gan had to hug Audrey, who was pregnant, in the second floor room, and look at the snow scene outside the window. Don't say it, it still feels good. When the little one is born, we will go get the marriage certificate and have a wedding. Mei Gan lowered his head and kissed the beauty in his arms and said, "I'll listen to you," Audrey said with a smile. Just as Mei Gan was about to say something, Audrey in his arms suddenly stiffened. Then her brows knitted together, and her body began to tremble violently. "Mei, the baby is coming out," Audrey said, grabbing Mei Gan's arm. "It's about to be born. What should I do? What should I do?" Mei Gan felt his mind go blank when he heard this, and he said at a loss, "Call Potts." "Ah." Audrey covered her belly and said intermittently, "Ah. Yes, 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 call Potts. She has prepared a doctor," Mei Gan muttered, while panickingly picking up the phone and starting to call. "Potts, hurry up, call the doctor over. Audrey is about to give birth," Mei Gan said hurriedly, as soon as the phone was connected, regardless of whether Potts on the other end heard it or not. "Mei, don't be nervous, the doctor will be here soon." Mei Gan didn't listen to Potts' words. He put down his phone immediately when he knew Potts knew it. He held Audrey's hand and comforted her. "Honey, don't worry, the doctor will be here soon." Audrey held her stomach and responded with difficulty, with big beads of sweat covering her forehead. Mei Gan quickly carried Audrey to the bed. 2 minutes later, a female doctor in a white coat ran into the room with a group of female nurses in nurse uniforms. The female nurses were holding various instruments in their hands. Potts had already arranged the medical staff, who lived next door. As long as there was any movement, they could rush over in a few minutes. This was what Mei Gan asked Potts to help invite. They were all the best obstetric medical staff in New York. "Mei, go out." Audrey saw the doctor coming and said to Mei Gan, "Audrey, I want. Go out." Audrey pushed Mei Gan's arm weakly and said. Audrey didn't want Mei Gan to see her giving birth. It would be too ugly. And last time she saw the news that a man divorced his wife after seeing her giving birth. Don't you think Mei Gan is such a person? Okay. Mei Gan saw that Audrey insisted and had to walk out of the room and then gently close the door. Listening to the painful sounds in the room, Mei Gan walked around the living room restlessly. "Stinky boy, don't leave, I'm dizzy." "What era is it?" "It's just the birth of a child, not doing anything else." Uncle Kyan came with Peter at some point, followed by Linda and Evely. "This is my only blood relative in this world." Mei Gan scratched his hair and said, "What about your ability? You can protect them, right?" Uncle Kyan walked to Mei Gan's side, grabbed Mei Gan's arm and said softly. Mei Gan was shocked when he heard this. "Yes. What am I afraid of? I still have the holy light. Even if the holy light doesn't work, I still have resurrection." Too anxious. Mei Gan patted his head and finally remembered that he was not a normal person. This is not right. Why are you all here?" Mei Gan noticed Peter, Linda and the others. "Mei Gan said that the store will not be open today. We want to see the baby as soon as possible. I wonder if Steve will be so nervous when I give birth." Linda sat down and said, turning to Steve. Evely on the side also had a look of longing, probably thinking about Kato. Mei Gan ignored these two crazy people. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of footsteps came. I saw Potts leading Tony, Natasha and a group of people to the second floor, which made the second floor crowded all of a sudden. "Why are you all here?" Mei Gan asked everyone in surprise. "Hey, Mei, I'm the godfather of the child. How could I not come? Tony took out a box of things from his inner pocket and said as he walked. Are you nervous? Do you want one? Tony walked to Mei Gan's side, took out a cigar, and said to Mei Gan, no thanks. I was quite nervous just now, but not now. Your face doesn't hurt anymore. Mei Gan pushed Tony's hand to refuse and then stabbed Tony again. Tony blushed and looked at Mei Gan resentfully. If you don't mention this, we are still good friends. You busy people, you can leave first if you have something to do. I heard it will take a long time. Mei Gan then said to everyone, I'm on vacation. Audrey is my good sister, and I'm the godmother of the child. Natasha found a stool and sat down and said, Mei, what do you think I can do during the day as a bar owner? I might as well stay here with you. Steve was pulled aside by Linda to explain. I will believe you if you can let go of your hand around Linda's waist when you say this. By the way, Linda took Steve down last night. No wonder Evely came to the flower shop in the morning to complain that Linda let her sleep on the bar counter last night. The boss is here. Where else can I go? Banner shrugged his shoulders. Okay, it's up to you guys. Mei Gan said speechlessly. It's not your child's birth. Why are you all here? Although he thought so, Mei Gan also knew that these guys wanted to accompany him, fearing that he would be nervous. A group of people just sat in the living room, listening to the painful screams coming from the room. Lunch was also solved casually. Time passed unknowingly. Chapter 41 is called Plum Disease. What a good implication. Afternoon. Around 6 o'clock. Wah wah wah, a loud cry of a baby came from the room that had been silent for a long time. Everyone who was sitting there listlessly in the living room was shocked when they heard the words. Then they all showed joy. It's born, Mei Gan said with a red face, and hurried to the door of the room to wait. A moment later, the sound of the door opening rang. A nurse opened the door, holding a baby wrapped in a thick quilt in her arms. Mr. Mei, congratulations, it's a little princess. Mei Gan looked over when he heard the words. He saw that the baby in the package had not opened its eyes yet, and the wrinkled skin did not look very good. Looking at his own flesh and blood, Mei Gan's eyes turned red for no reason, and he was about to shed tears. Those were tears of joy. It was really not easy. He didn't have a child before crossing over, but he didn't expect to have a child in this Marvel world. He held the baby in his arms and was about to walk into the room. Leave the child behind. You go to see Audrey. Natasha walked up and took the baby in Mei Gan's hand. Mei Gan was not annoyed. After Natasha hugged the child tightly, he walked into the room quickly, looking at Audrey, who was lying on the bed with her eyes closed and a pale face. Seeing Mei Gan coming, Audrey opened her eyes and smiled at Mei Gan. Mei Gan grabbed Audrey's hands and said softly, thank you. Mei, why are you thanking me? That's my daughter too. Audrey also grabbed Mei Gan's hand tightly. At this moment, she felt that Mei Gan really had her presence in his heart, which was not the case before. She always felt that Mei Gan's figure was looming around her and never stayed for a long time. Maybe he would disappear from her world at any time. Audrey was always uneasy in her heart until she saw the palace drama of the Celestial Empire on the internet. Then she had the idea of having a child, so she used her words to make Mei say that he wanted a child, and she just took action. Mei, I tied you to us with our child. I'm sorry, I'm too selfish, but everyone is selfish in love. At this moment, she was finally sure that she would never lose this ordinary looking man, the man she loved deeply. Maybe it felt a little sad to others that only the child could make Mei stay, but the child was the fruit of their love. Anyway, Mei would not leave now. Mei already had me in her heart. What else could I ask for? I didn't care anymore. The ending was perfect, wasn't it? Where's the child? I want to see it. Seeing Mei Gan looking out the door frequently, Audrey smiled as she thought for a moment. I'll go get her. Mei Gan immediately walked towards the living room after hearing that. When he walked outside, he saw a group of people surrounding the baby and whispering. Gan. Mei, did you help me name my daughter? Tony asked Uncle Gan while holding the baby. Just now, everyone held the little guy, and it was Tony's turn at last. Who told him that he couldn't beat these men without wearing armor? The woman couldn't do it, so he had to be the last one. To be honest, he likes children, especially little girls. Tony is holding her tightly and won't let go. Even Red Baby and Chicky couldn't see the baby just now. They had to fly over Tony's head to see the baby. Potts saw it and thought of the Chinese palace drama recommended to him by Audrey. Potts felt that it was time to implement the plan. He heard that Betty had already taken action against Banner. This palace drama has become popular in the United States. Although there are many girls in the United States who don't want to work, they will find a rich man to leave offspring so that they can have no worries about food and clothing for the rest of their lives, especially in the sports world of the United States. But Potts and others are different from them. What they want is money, while Potts and others only want this man. No matter whether they are rich or poor, they are not poor anyway. They still have some money in their pockets and can still afford to support a man. It seems not yet. Uncle Khan thought for a while and replied. Tony was immediately excited when he heard it. Let me, who has the best IQ here, do the naming job. It seems that Mei neglected it. Then I will help the little guy to choose a name. Tony said seriously and then lowered his head to think. After a while, he said, let's call it Meebing. What a good meaning. The surname Mei has no homophone in your country. It means no disease or disaster. How good. Tony said complacently and suddenly felt that everyone was staring at him. He looked up and felt insulted. Everyone looked at him with disgust. Tony was confused and could only think that they were jealous. Potts walked to Tony's side, picked up the baby, and stepped on Tony heavily. Potts, what are you doing? Huh, Tony, I will name my child myself in the future. Your IQ has been sacrificed to science. Potts snorted. Isn't me being bad? If you say this word, I will throw you out. Mei Gan walked forward with a dark face and glared at Tony. Before crossing over, Mei Gan was disgusted with his name, but it was given by his parents before crossing over. After crossing over, he didn't change his name in order to keep a memory. He didn't have money. It was really ugly. When he was young, Mei Gan wanted to change it himself. He secretly took the household registration book. Who knew he was discovered and received a mixed doubles beating at night. This Tony wants to give my daughter such an ugly name, and it's called Meibing. It sounds like syphilis. I can name my daughter myself. You don't have to worry about it. As a result, the little guy, Mei Gan, turned around and walked towards the room. The child's mother still has to take care of the child. Natasha and other women looked at Tony and covered their mouths and laughed. Honey, what's wrong? So angry? Looking at the angry Mei Gan, Audrey asked puzzledly. Tony, that guy actually named my daughter Meibing. Oh. God. That's too ugly. Audrey rolled her beautiful eyes when she heard it, took the little guy, and gently touched the child's face. Mei, have you picked a name? Audrey asked. Yes. Mei Nyangsu. It doesn't have any meaning. It just sounds nice. Do you want an English name? Mei Gan said. Let's call her Sissy. Mei, what do you think? I'll listen to you. Each of us will pick a name. Little Sissy seemed to hear her parents discussing her. She slowly opened her eyes, revealing her black eyeballs, and the first thing she saw was two big faces looking at her gently. Little Sissy opened her eyes. Sissy, nice to meet you. This is your father Mei Gan. I'm your mother Audrey. Audrey said to little Sissy with a smile. Little Sissy seemed to understand, waving her little hands and showing a smile. When listening to Audrey introducing her own name, Mei Gan's heart warmed up. This is the family of this world. Mei Gan slowly reached out and hugged Audrey tightly. Feeling the warmth on her waist, Audrey's smile became even brighter. Perhaps sensing something, the little chicken and the red dragon flapped their wings and flew into the room, stood on the bed, and looked at the three people quietly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. Should I prepare a pair of scissors? In the morning, the sun was high in the sky, and the snow in the city had melted under the sunlight yesterday, leaving dry ground. Little Sissy was born 3 days ago. Everyone had gotten used to the little girl's existence, and they would come to hug her every day. Even Tony had completely forgotten about the slap in the face that night. He was the one who stayed the longest, and he would hold the little girl every day when he had nothing to do. If he hadn't known Audrey didn't know him at all before, Mei Gan would have thought that Tony had put a hat on him. Especially now that the baby's skin is no longer wrinkled, little Sissy is getting cuter. It's amazing to say that foreigners have good physiques and don't need to sit in confinement at all. Mei Gan climbed over the wall to memorize so many confinement recipes, but he almost didn't use any of them. Audrey said that little Sissy wouldn't be hungry anyway. The day after little Sissy was born, Audrey held little Sissy and made an appointment with Potts to rush to the gym that Tony built for everyone. She said that she was too fat during pregnancy and needed to lose weight. She also asked Mei Gan not to cook Chinese food for her during this period. She wanted to eat something light. Fortunately, Mei Gan persuaded her last night. She said that if she didn't take care of her body now, she would become ugly when she was old. She would have all kinds of diseases when she was old. Anyway, it was all the marketing accounts before. This made the confinement diet I memorized come in handy. That's it. There is only one confinement diet per day, but it's better to have it than not, so I don't have to worry about my good daughter not having nutrition. In the physiotherapy center, Mei Gan slumped on the sofa, his head dozing off little by little. He was exhausted these days. He couldn't sleep well at night. Little Sissy peed and cried, pooped and cried, and was hungry and cried. Now Mei Gan wants to sleep as soon as he sits down. Although he has magic, he can't change his sleeping habits of more than 20 years psychologically, and once he falls asleep, he will wake up at the slightest movement. Just now Audrey took little Sissy to the gym, so Mei Gan had time to take a nap here and have a cup of coffee to refresh himself. He had to go back later. The second floor was boiling hot pot. These days, Red Baby has been going to the physical therapy center. After all, he likes to sleep the most. After a while, he heard a cry. He couldn't sleep comfortably, so he had to change places. The little chicken was very happy because the food that Audrey couldn't finish every day went into his stomach, so he had a good meal these days. The little chicken thought that Audrey would give birth to a baby every year, so he would have delicious food every year. If Mei Gan heard it, he would definitely be beaten. Human cubs are cute, but they are too torturous. Brother Gan, your coffee at this time. Kato brought a cup of coffee and put it on the table in front of Mei Gan. By the way, Kato seems to have opened a coffee shop recently. Since Tony and his friends tasted the coffee made by Kato, they came to drink a cup every 3 or 5 days. Steve was a little jealous when he saw it because his tavern didn't have such good business. Mei Gan was considering whether to accept the money. After all, the materials were his. Thinking of Steve, he hadn't seen him for the past 2 days. Where did he go? Linda, why isn't Steve here? Mei Gan took a sip of coffee and asked Linda, who was about to give something to Uncle Gan. He received a call yesterday and went out with Natasha. He hasn't come back yet and I don't know where he went. Mei, do you think there is a problem between Steve and Natasha? Should I prepare a pair of scissors? Linda asked Mei Gan with a frown. Hearing this, Mei Gan suddenly felt a chill in his lower body. Looking at Linda's expressionless face, he mourned for Steve for 3 seconds in his heart. Oh, don't worry, Linda, they must have been called away by Ludan. Mei Gan thought for a moment and knew that they must be dealing with Hydra. After all, so much time has passed and Ludan should have prepared everything he wanted. Washington District. On the building opposite the Trident headquarters of S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick and Hill were standing in front of a floor-to-ceiling window. Nick Fury pressed the headset beside his ear and ordered, "Coulson, it's time to act." "Got it, sir," Coulson replied. A moment later, outside the Trident headquarters building, a number of armed vehicles surrounded the Trident headquarters building. At the same time, bursts of gunfire suddenly rang out from the building. The building immediately fell into chaos. From time to time, Hydra members rushed out of the building's door and were either beaten to pieces by S.H.I.E.L.D. agents at the door or captured alive. 2 hours later, Steve and Natasha walked out of the door in tight uniforms. Steve held the big knife in his right hand and the shield in his left hand. There was still some blood on the big knife. Natasha made an okay gesture in Nick's direction and asked Steve to walk to the car next to him. Nick Fury looked at Steve and the others expressionlessly and asked into the headset, "Coulson, have you caught the target?" "It's under control, sir." "Very good." Finally, Nick smiled a little. "By the way, this smile is scarier than Deng Day days. I've been gone for 2 days. I don't know how little Sissy is doing. I miss her a lot." Natasha started the car and said to Steve in the passenger seat with a smile, "You actually have feelings, Natasha." Steve took out a piece of cloth and wiped the blood on the big knife and replied, "Why can't I have feelings? I'm the godmother of little Sissy. She is very cute, isn't she?" "Yes, very cute. Now I just want to go back and take a shower and then ask Kato for a cup of coffee. I didn't dare to imagine such a day before. Before, I couldn't sleep well, but now on that street, I sleep more peacefully than ever before. Thanks to Mei. Although he looks stingy, I have to say that he has a sense of security. I really envy Audrey for not having to live such a life anymore. If you live the same life as Audrey, will you get used to it? I guess not. It's okay for a while, but I will go crazy if it lasts longer." Natasha shrugged. "So you are different from her, then why envy Audrey?" "I envy her for finding a good man. It was Nick's order for you to get close to Mei." Steve put the clean big knife on the back seat. "Yes, Nick asked me to develop feelings with Mei, whether it is friendship or love. He wants to find a S.H.I.E.L.D. connection for Mei. I have to say that he has a good idea, but I know it will never succeed. Although I have known Mei for a short time, I know that he knows that you have a purpose. If something happens to you, he will not save you. I understand, so I'm just perfunctory to Nick. I don't want to leave that warm long street now, and he also has such a purpose in placing you there. Of course I know, but I can ignore it, and I can also pretend that I know nothing, right? I just want to make friends with Mei sincerely." Of course, Natasha smiled. Then, the two chatted about some meaningless topics. Ding ding ling, a phone rang. "Hi, Tony. Hey, can you guys come back tomorrow?" "What happened?" "Nothing happened. Mei told me that tomorrow is Kyan's birthday, and Mei wants to help him celebrate, and she needs to use your tavern. No problem. If you want to use the tavern, just ask Linda for the key." Hey, we are from the same street, and we are brothers who have fought together. You two must come back too, of course. In fact, we are on our way back now. That's it. Bye. Steve put down the old phone, turned to Natasha and said, "Find a shopping mall and buy Kyan some gifts. Tomorrow is Kyan's birthday, okay?" Chapter 43. What sound? Big Apple. A basement. Madame Gao and the other four fingers stood on a step. "Zin, how long will it take to dig the place?" Madame Gao asked, pointing at the cane in her hand. "Madam, we can dig it tomorrow night. We could have dug it today, but there was a house foundation blocking the road at the target. It would take longer to bypass it, so it took some time. As long as we blow up the foundation tonight, it will be fine." Zin, who was kneeling on one knee, replied, "Very good. We can take the things back to Sakura overnight tomorrow. I really miss the cherry blossoms in my hometown." Murakami sighed happily. The five fingers showed excitement at the same time. After all, their lifespans can be extended. The next day, in the morning, everyone gathered in Steve's tavern just after breakfast. Only Uncle Kyan and Peter were not there. Early in the morning, Peter tricked Uncle Kyan into going shopping with his Aunt Mei, according to Mei Kyan's words. And Jessica, who had been pestering Uncle Kyan recently, was sitting quietly in the corner of the tavern, wondering what she was thinking. Jessica rented a house not far away 2 days ago. As for where the money came from, it was said that she went to Hell's Kitchen for a walk and came back with 2 big boxes, just like Mei Gan did before, and was slightly injured. This injury gave her an excuse to get close to Uncle Kyan, and Mei Gan had reason to suspect that she was injured on purpose. "Mei, I feel that Steve's place is too small. There is no swimming pool, no lawn, no DJ, no bikini, and no way to find models. I think it would be better to go back to my beach villa," Tony said with ulterior motives. "Tony, do you want to call a model? Do you want me to dress up for you?" Natasha said, sitting on the sofa with her legs crossed. "Forget it, you are a spy. Then I will dress up for you, right here," Potts said, staring at Tony. "Dear Potts, I'm not a generous man." Tony immediately went up and hugged Potts after hearing this. Then do you think I'm a generous woman? Potts pinched Tony's soft flesh. Okay, you decide, Tony said after taking a breath. Okay, Tony, stop being weird. Uncle Khan is so old, so I won't make such a fuss. Mei Gan patted Tony's shoulder. But I seem to remember that Khan had a lot of fun at my place that night. Tony shrugged. Mei Gan didn't say anything, but rolled his eyes at Tony. Last time, Uncle Khan didn't even have Aunt Mei to accompany him, and there was a super powerful woman sitting in the corner. Aren't you afraid that all the models you found will be thrown out? Now Jessica is still staring at Tony, blaming him for his suggestions. Uncle Khan already has Aunt Mei as an enemy, and he will go crazy if he gets more. Jessica may not know that Uncle Khan has several confidants such as Sophie and Eufina in the next street. It's just that they don't dare to come here recently. After all, there have been street bombers here for some time. Okay, let's divide the work. Mei Gan clapped his hands and said to everyone. Everyone looked at Mei Gan after hearing this, and Mei Gan was the only one who knew Uncle Khan better. Steve, take Banner with you to buy decorations for the venue, and Natasha too. It's better to have a woman with you, Mei Gan said to Steve and the others. No problem, they nodded. Betty and Potts and the rest of the people just need to wait here and clean up. Tony, Kato and I will go to Chinatown to buy some things, Mei Gan said again. Okay, no problem, they replied. After the arrangements were completed, they went to find their own tasks. In the evening, in the veteran tavern, the colorful lights made the entire tavern look dreamy. Everyone was patiently waiting for Peter and Aunt Mei to bring Uncle Khan back. Not long after, Peter was seen walking slowly towards this side with Uncle Khan, and Aunt Mei was holding Uncle Khan's arm on the other side. Here he comes. Khan is back. Evely ran back to the tavern and said to everyone the moment she saw Uncle Khan at the door. Okay, I'll go and bring Uncle Khan over. Mei Gan walked out the door. Mei Gan walked to Uncle Khan, squeezed Peter away, hugged Uncle Khan and said, Uncle Khan, let's go. Steve and others are waiting in the bar. Let's go have a drink, stinky boy. You are already a father. Don't always think about hanging out. Take care of your family. This is our Chinese tradition. You should be like your uncle. Be more mature. Uncle Khan's face was obviously moved, but it was not easy to say go directly next to Aunt Mei. It's okay. Let's go together. Kai and Aunt Mei patted Uncle Khan's arm and said, okay then, we agreed that we will just have a few drinks. Not too much. Uncle Khan's face flashed with excitement, but disappeared in the blink of an eye, and his face became serious again. Mei Gan was fed up with it, pretending hard. This old man is very bad. He used to go to Eufina's place at night. Do you think I don't know? Now he pretends to take care of his family. But today is Uncle Khan's birthday. Mei Gan didn't confront him, leaving him some face. Not to mention Aunt Mei was still there. When Mei Gan and Uncle Khan walked into the bar, they heard a cheer. Surprise. Happy birthday, Khan. Bang. After a round of salutes, debris fell all over the sky. Uncle Khan was startled at first. After all, he didn't always use his mind to check the surroundings. Especially when Mei Gan was beside him, he was really scared. When he heard the cheers and words, Uncle Khan was moved, even though he had experience and determination. His eyes were a little red. You little brat, you played this trick on your uncle. Uncle Khan gently tapped Mei Gan with his guide stick, and the smile on his face could not be hidden. In this world, he only has Mei Gan and Kato to rely on. As for Aunt Mei, she is not yet, and only Mei Gan knows his birthday. Not even Kato knows. He doesn't need to think about it to know that it is Mei Gan's good deed. A warm current flows through his heart, and his whole body is warm. He hasn't felt this way for a long time. Khan, come and sit down. You are the oldest today. Come, I will let you hold little Sissy for a while. Look, she is so happy and cute. Tony held little Sissy and walked to Uncle Khan's side and gently put little Sissy in Uncle Khan's arms. Little Sissy stretched out her pink little hands and grabbed at the air as if she wanted to grab something. Uncle Khan lowered his head slightly to let little Sissy reach his beard. When little Sissy touched the beard, she immediately laughed. Good girl, come and have a bowl of longevity noodles. Mei Gan brought a bowl of longevity noodles that he cooked to Uncle Khan. Then I won't be polite. Uncle Kyan gave little Sissy back to Audrey, took Mei Gan's chopsticks, and started to enjoy it. Night. There was laughter in the pub. After eating the cake, everyone sat together to chat, drink wine, and enjoy this hard-earned time. For Natasha, Steve and others, it was hard-earned. Audrey had already gone back to sleep with little Sissy in her arms. Children are prone to sleepiness. Thanks, little brat. I'm very happy tonight. Uncle Kyan and Mei Gan were sitting in a corner. Uncle Kyan raised his glass and clinked it with Mei Gan's. What are you thanking me for? It's my duty. Mei Gan smiled and drank the remaining red wine. In my life. Boom, just as Uncle Kyan was about to say something, a loud roar sounded, and then everyone felt the ground shaking. What's that sound? An earthquake? Mei Gan frowned and ran out of the pub with everyone else. Chapter 44 collapsed again. Night. At the entrance of the pub, everyone ran out of the pub and looked around, looking for the source of the noise. At this moment, the physiotherapy center seemed to have been attacked and began to sway slowly. Everyone noticed something was wrong and turned around to look, looking at the shaking house in confusion. Mei Gan was about to ask Tony if his construction team had cut corners. There was no strong wind, so why was the house shaking? But at this moment, the ground of the house suddenly sank under everyone's eyes. Boom, the physiotherapy center collapsed directly like a building block with its base pulled out. In an instant, dust rose up, blocking everyone's sight, and the dust all over the sky floated in all directions. Mei Gan stared at the collapsed physiotherapy center with a dull look, completely ignoring the dust that was coming towards him. Everyone around him opened their mouths wide, swallowed a mouthful of dust, and then watched the collapsed house with their eyes wide open. After a moment, they woke up and coughed violently. After spitting out the dust in their mouths, they looked at each other, and there was a moment of silence. Damn it, it collapsed again. Mei Gan's eyes were slightly red, and his face was red. This was not caused by sadness, but anger. Mei Gan's chest seemed to have endless anger rising. Fuck me, if you have the guts, come at me. What's the point of always destroying my house? Last time Tony fought against you when Vank's house escaped a disaster, and it escaped a disaster when Kingpin attacked. How could it collapse for no reason this time? It was that bastard again. I'm going to kill a lot tonight. Mei Gan was ruthless in his heart. Then his figure soared into the sky and landed on the roof of the tavern. The huge mental power spread out and penetrated into the ground of the physiotherapy center like water. In an instant, the situation underground appeared in Mei Gan's mind. What came into my mind was a man-made tunnel, about 2 meters in diameter, with about 100 people in it. Among them, more than 20 guys wearing red ninja uniforms were folding their arms and monitoring the excavation work of others. It's the Hand again. Mei Gan narrowed his eyes slightly, and his murderous intent burst out without concealment. Even Steve and the others could feel this chilling murderous intent. Everyone frowned and looked at Mei Gan on the roof with some worry. Kyan. Mei. Steve was about to say something but stopped. Natasha, go call Audrey and ask her to bring Nanzu down. Uncle Kyan's eyes flashed, and he suppressed his anger. After looking at Mei Gan, he said to Natasha, although he didn't want to disturb Mei Gan from venting, there was no way. Killing some scum was fine, but if he killed innocent people indiscriminately, or Mei Gan lost his mind, he would be an enemy of the world. After all, which country can tolerate a person who kills people at the slightest mistake? Humans are always social animals. If they are excluded, who can guarantee that they will not go crazy? I know. Natasha turned and ran to the flower shop. Let the main culprit vent his anger. If he has other ideas, ask Audrey to stop him. Uncle Kyan turned and looked at everyone and said, of course. Tony agreed. He had seen Mei Gan beat up 8 last time. It would be better to let Mei Gan vent his anger, otherwise they would not be able to stop him. Mei Gan's mental power extended to the outside of the passage. More than 10 meters away, Mrs. Gao, who had been killed by Mei Gan, and 4 other people and a little boy were slowly walking towards the people who were digging. How long will it take to see the dragon bone fossils? Mrs. Gao asked Zin, who was standing aside. Madam, we can see the fossils after cleaning up these rubbles. Very good. The explosion just now should have attracted the attention of others, and the action should be accelerated, Mrs. Gao said with a happy face. Yes, sir. By the way, the house just blown up was the one there, and the foundation was so deep, Mrs. Gao asked casually. Madam, there is a Chinese-owned physiotherapy center above. His house has been destroyed several times, so he built a foundation so deep. Five Fingers listened to the emotionless words of the letter and only felt a thunder explosion in their ears. The five people trembled all over, their pupils shrank slightly, and their whole bodies began to tremble involuntarily. Run. The five people looked at each other and shouted together. Without saying a word, they immediately ran out of the passage, wishing to use all their strength to run. Asshole, it's too late to run now. As soon as the few people took a step, a voice full of anger sounded in their ears. Hearing the sound in their ears, the five people sped up again. Madame Gao shouted to the little boy who was standing there without moving. He can't stop him. As soon as the voice fell, she turned around and was about to run forward. In an instant, the five people stopped, and the five people took a defensive posture, staring at the figure that suddenly appeared in front of them. Night Elf Hero Warden Skills. Flash. It allows the skill owner to move instantly within a short distance of 5 kilometers, ignoring any obstacles. The casting interval is 10 seconds. This is the skill that Mei Gan extracted on the day when Mei Gan's daughter was born. Mei Gan suspected that this was the birth gift given to S.H.I.E.L.D by the system. There is no way to give it to S.H.I.E.L D herself, so it can only be given to S.H.I.E.L D's father. In just these few days, Mei Gan extracted another skill. After S.H.I.E.L D was born, Mei Gan extracted 2 skills in a row. In the tunnel, a group of red-clothed ninjas surrounded Mei Gan in the middle. Mei Gan ignored this group of minions and just stared at Mrs. Gao and the other 5. Mr. Mei, we have no intention of being your enemy, but our men did not know you existed and offended you. We will immediately restore your house to its original state and add $100 million as compensation. What do you think? Alexandra said cautiously. You bastards from the Hand Society have destroyed my house twice, and you still want to solve it with money. When I kill you all your money will be mine. Mei Gan said, and ignored the reactions of several people. Mei Gan's figure suddenly disappeared from the spot, just like he had just arrived, silently, and a group of people from the Hand Society immediately became alert. They were afraid that Mei Gan would suddenly appear beside them. At this time, Mei Gan had already appeared on the ground and was right above the heads of the people from the Hand Society. Mei Gan slowly raised his right foot and then stomped hard on the ground. The ground shook violently, and starting from Mei Gan's right foot, a wide crack stretched forward, like a giant python sliding. The shaking continued, and the crack was like a devil's open mouth, pulling to both sides, and the crack became larger and larger. The shaking stopped, and a 3-meter wide crack appeared in front of Mei Gan. More than 100 people from the Hand Society were exposed under the moonlight. All the members of the Hand had fallen to the ground, and it was unknown whether they were dead or alive. The tunnel they dug had been blocked, so 5 Fingers could not escape. Except for 5 Fingers and Mei Gan of the Hand, the other members of the Hand had died with blood gushing from all 7 orifices. Wrapping up those red-clothed ninjas, Mei Gan wanted to burn 5 Fingers well. But Mei Gan was something Mei Gan had not expected. He was stronger than 5 Fingers, although he was just that strong for Mei Gan. War Trampling, the skill of the orc hero Tauren Chieftain. It violently hits the ground, causing the ground within a range of 500 meters in front to vibrate, and at the same time stuns and damages enemy units within the range. The interval between casting is 6 seconds. After a while, the 6 people on the ground slowly woke up, and 5 Fingers looked at the congregants on the ground with horror. More than 100 people died in one blow. How could they offend such a devil? The 5 people looked ugly and looked at Mei Gan above with vigilance. Mei Gan seemed to be out of control and roared at Mei Gan, who had stunned him. Then his body shot out like a cannonball, rushing towards the dried plums. Chapter 45 Vampire Aura. Night. Mei Gan stood with his back to the moon. His shadow was stretched very long. It seemed that there were cold currents on the ground spreading in all directions with Mei Gan as the center, and layers of frost appeared instantly. That was the spread of magic power, which turned Mei Gan's killing intention into frost. Looking at Mei Gan, who was rushing towards him, Mei Gan's eyes did not waver at all. His right foot slowly raised again, and when Mei Gan was only 1 meter away from Mei Gan's right foot slammed the ground again. Bang bang. It sounded like the amplified sound of opening champagne. Uncle Gan and his group, who had already walked not far from Mei Gan, saw spikes rising from the ground instantly. The spikes pierced through the remaining 5 fingers and Mei Gan's body like spears, as easy as piercing a candied horse. A shrill scream sounded, and it spread far, far away. 6 khaki spikes pierced several people into the air, and blood flowed from the spikes like a faucet. Mei Gan looked at the crowd wailing calmly. Piercing undead hero Crypt Lord's skill. Originally, the game effect was to throw the enemy into the air, nail the enemy to its sharp forelimbs, and cause a lot of damage. Mei Gan did not have sharp forelimbs, so the system extracted the skill effect like this. Summon sharp and tough earth spikes from the ground, penetrate the enemy and nail them in the air, and then cause a lot of damage. The casting interval is 9 seconds. Because there are only 6 people left in the hand, Mei Gan only summoned 6 earth spikes. In the distance, Natasha was trotting over with Audrey holding little Sissy in her arms. Uncle Gan seemed to have heard the noise, patted Aunt Mei beside him and said, "Mei, go hold little Sissy, don't bring her here, it's too bloody here, okay?" Aunt Mei responded, turned around and walked towards Audrey. Not long after, Audrey came to the crowd, looked at the bloody scene underground, and quickly covered her mouth to prevent herself from making any sound, for fear of disturbing Mei Gan. Then she looked at Steve beside her with an inquiring look. "Mei is fine, you watch first, don't make any noise, let Mei vent first." Steve smiled and comforted Audrey. Audrey nodded silently, looking at Mei Gan with worried eyes. Beside the crack, Mei Gan took a step and walked towards the people underground. Just as the raised foot landed on the ground, a dazzling purple light slowly emerged with Mei Gan as the center. The purple light revolved around Mei Gan. After a few breaths, a circular halo with a diameter of 5 meters appeared at the bottom of Mei Gan's feet. The halo moved with Mei Gan's movement. When the black sky entered the halo, the dripping blood slowly merged into the halo, as if being pulled by something. Then a faint purple line gathered towards Mei Gan's body. "Well, bastards, you will be punished for destroying my house. I will suck your blood bit by bit and exchange it for my nutrients. This is your price." Mei Gan's cold voice drowned out the wailing of the 6 people and resounded in their ears. The 6 people no longer had any strength to beg for mercy, and their eyes were full of despair. As Mei Gan moved, the 6 people were covered by the halo, and the 6 bloods were being absorbed by the halo, and then replaced by vitality, and gathered in Mei Gan's body. Vampire aura skills of the undead hero Dreadlord. Aura skills. Skills that are cast all the time, as long as you learn them in the game. After the system is extracted, a switch is installed. Mei Gan can use it whenever he wants, and can turn it off if he doesn't want to use it. The effect of the blood-sucking aura is to absorb the enemy's blood and convert it into vitality, which is injected into the skill owner or the marked unit. To mark a unit, as long as Mei Gan puts a trace of magic power on others, it is considered a mark. Mei Gan, who was absorbing vitality, suddenly seemed to think of something and turned around to look at Uncle Gan and the others. The cold eyes slowly disappeared. "Uncle Gan, come here." Mei Gan waved to Uncle Gan. Uncle Gan was stunned when he heard the words and did not respond. He walked forward with his guide stick. "Dear," Audrey hurriedly called when she saw that Mei Gan had regained consciousness. "Audrey, you take the baby back first. I'm fine. I'll go back after I'm done here. Be good," Mei Gan said to Audrey. "Okay." Audrey bit her lip when she heard the words and looked at Mei Gan worriedly. Seeing that he didn't look like that just now, she felt relieved and turned around to walk back. Uncle Gan walked into the blood-sucking aura without hesitation in the worried eyes of everyone. "Smelly boy, it's almost done. Why are you calling the old man?" Uncle Gan walked to Mei Gan's side and said, "The boy will give you something to show his filial piety." After Mei Gan finished speaking, a purple line separated from Mei Gan's feet and gathered on Uncle Gan. As the purple lines converged, Uncle Kyan felt a warm current flowing into his body and felt that his body was slowly getting younger. Uncle Kyan's participation made the aura absorb faster. As the blood of the 6 people decreased, the 6 people slowly became just skin and bones. After a while, the screams of the 6 people had disappeared, along with the breath of several people. The 6 people were drained of blood by Mei Gan and died. Seeing that the 6 people were dead, Mei Gan put away the blood-sucking aura and blew a whistle. The red baby immediately flew out of Jessica's arms and landed on Mei Gan's shoulder. Without Mei Gan's instructions, the red baby spit out a mouthful of thick phlegm, and in an instant, the 6 mummies were turned into dust. As Uncle Kyan's vitality increased, the few white hairs on his head had turned black hair, and his skin looked younger. This made him a better match when standing with Aunt Mei, and no one should say that Uncle Kyan was an old cow eating young grass. Tony looked at Uncle Kyan, who walked in front of the group with a little envy. Kyan has become younger and more handsome now. It will be difficult to let him attend his party next time. Otherwise, all the models will be seduced by this guy. Mei, are you okay? Steve asked Mei Gan cautiously. Relax, Steve, relax. I'm very sober. Mei Gan patted Steve's shoulder and said, huh. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief when they heard it. What are you doing? I'm not a murderer. Mei Gan rolled his eyes and said, Mei, you were so scary just now. I hit you, and you'll dust us later. Peter patted his chest and said, Bang Mei, why did you hit me? Peter touched his head and shouted, I'll dust you now, Mei Gan said in a vicious manner. Peter's pupils shrank slightly when he heard it, and his body instinctively took a half step back. Mei is killing you, little Peter. Tony patted Peter's shoulder and laughed. Huh, I'm scared to death. Peter patted his chest again. Tony, I need to trouble you with my house again. No problem, Mei. It doesn't matter how many times you repair the house. Tony said with a smile, while holding Mei Gan's shoulders. Just kidding, he just saw money become younger. Who doesn't want to live longer? Tony is envious. Although you can't take other people's lives casually, it's okay to take the lives of enemies, right? Natasha, there should be some money or good things at the headquarters of the Hand. You ask Nick to get it done. Just give me tens of millions. Mei Gan raised his eyebrows and said to Natasha, he has already taken action. Mei, you are too late. Natasha said with a smile. Fuck. That cunning boiled egg, Mei Gan cursed. If you curse again, I won't give you the money. Nick Fury's voice came from the phone in Natasha's hand. Hey, don't. Nick, I solved their boss. I should have a share of the money. Damn, Mei, don't make such a big fuss all the time. I don't want to help you clean up every time. Nick complained on the phone. You know, Nick, as long as no one disturbs my life, I don't want to move. I just want you to be quiet next time. I'll try. Mei Gan said perfunctorily. I hope so. I'll transfer the money. That's it. Nick hung up the phone after saying that. Chapter 46 Travel. In the morning, the warm sunshine was shining. Mei Gan pushed the baby carriage and walked with Audrey on the street. It had been a month since the house was destroyed, and everyone had a very comfortable life. The men would gather at the veteran tavern to brag when they were free at night, and the women would meet at the gym or go shopping. Mei Gan felt that this was a life like a god, and it was great not to have to worry about money. But the little guy was getting more and more naughty. He was spoiled by everyone and had to be held in his arms. He would cry if he was put down. It was all Tony's fault. This guy held the most. Seeing how Sissy tortured people, Potts was a little doubtful about whether he should have a child. Compared with everyone's comfort, in the eyes of everyone, Uncle Kyan was living in dire straits recently. Aunt May and Jessica's war had reached a white-hot stage. Even though Jessica knew that Aunt May and Uncle Kyan were together, this girl still intervened. The most terrible thing was that Uncle Kyan seemed to have been pushed by Jessica, so now Uncle Kyan was in a dilemma, but he himself was very calm. He is indeed a scumbag who has been in the underworld. Even Tony, the playboy, felt sorry for Uncle Kyan. Tony said that he had retired from the underworld and had retired from the underworld. Didn't you see that he is now living with Potts? Mei Gan and Audrey pushed the little guy around the park and walked back. Honey, let's go on a trip in a while. Mei Gan turned to Audrey beside him and said, Okay. Audrey's eyes lit up when she heard it, and she replied happily. Where do you want to travel? Well, there are no good places to go in the United States, or they have been there before, so why don't we travel abroad? Audrey replied after thinking for a moment. Okay, let's go back and study it. When the two talked about traveling, their pace also quickened a lot, and they couldn't wait. Morning. Mei Gan and Audrey were sitting on the sofa in the flower shop, looking at the laptop on the table with great interest. Mei, how about we go to the romantic kingdom? I've always wanted to see the night view from the Eiffel Tower, or go to the Aegean Sea, or go to Turkey, to eat delicious food and visit the ancient city of Ephesus. Audrey's white fingers excitedly tapped the laptop and said. Mei Gan was stunned. Honey, don't you like going out? Why are you so excited now? Mei Gan asked puzzledly. Of course I'm excited to go out with Mei and our little sissy. Audrey kissed Mei Gan's face and picked up little sissy who had just woken up in the stroller and said. Then where should we go? Mei Gan scratched his head. Hey, Mei, what are you doing? While the two were struggling, Tony walked into the flower shop in a red suit. The red suit is so showy. Mei Gan grinned. Oh, baby sissy, it seems that the Godfather came at the right time. You woke up. Tony saw sissy wake up and said excitedly. But he didn't notice that the moment little sissy saw Tony, she wanted to cry. Tony was despised, and the little guy probably felt annoyed by this show off. But it was no use being annoyed, so Tony still picked up sissy. He glanced at the laptop. Hey, guys, are you planning to travel? Tony asked the two. Of course, otherwise why would we look at the map? Mei Gan rolled his eyes. Then I won't be able to see my dear sissy for a long time, Tony said, touching little sissy's pretty face. Then I can't help you. Mei Gan spread his hands. How about we go together? Call Potts, Banner and Steve. Tony's eyes lit up. I'm such a genius. This is a good idea, Tony thought, and rushed to the Veterans Tavern with little sissy in his arms. Mei Gan and the other man smiled bitterly at each other. This is a wonderful time for our family to travel. You guys are not only here to be a light bulb, but you also have to bring several fluorescent tubes, and you are also a bunch of troublemakers. Not long after, Tony brought Steve and Linda to the flower shop. Linda was excited. Going out to travel with Steve. Just thinking about it makes me excited. I went to call Banner, but Banner said he didn't want to go. I asked Kyan, and Kyan said that Kato was at a critical moment of martial arts training recently. If he didn't go, then only 9 of us would go, Tony said to Mei Gan. Mei, Audrey, where do you want to travel? I'll plan the route, Tony said as he walked. I just discussed with Mei about going to the Eiffel Tower, Ephesus and the Aegean Sea, Audrey said, pointing to the map in the notebook. Okay, Steve, where do you want to go to play? Forget it, you old man who has been sleeping for 70 years should wait for us young people to arrange it. Tony patted Steve on the shoulder and said. He didn't care about the resentful eyes of Steve and Linda, but Steve didn't care, and Linda was even more so, as long as she was with Steve. Come, let's study the route together. Tony pushed Mei Gan aside, took away his laptop, took out his mobile phone, and put it on the table, and a light curtain rose. Mei Gan rolled his eyes at Tony. Tony pointed to the map and said to everyone, we will sail from the Big Apple, board my luxury yacht, cross the Atlantic Ocean, disembark in the romantic country of Bordeaux, drive the 3 luxury RVs I ordered later, and travel through several countries, get on the yacht again in Antalya, Turkey, and then go to the Aegean Sea for a few days, and then cross the Atlantic Ocean from the Mediterranean Sea back. When Mei Gan heard Tony's luxury yacht, he threw the matter of Tony's decision to customize the route and act as a light bulb behind his mind. You have money and you have the final say. It's a luxury yacht and a luxury RV. What can we poor B say? You decide. Everyone looked at each other, showing a very satisfied expression, and replied in unison. I think this idea is great too. Tony looked narcissistic. By the way, Tony, doesn't Potts have to take care of the company's affairs? Mei Gan looked at this narcissistic guy speechlessly. Since you, a capitalist, have arranged a top-notch travel plan, he won't argue with you. Mei, what era is it now? There are video remote offices, and they are holographic. Tony shook the phone in his hand, and looked at this ancient magician with disdain. Ahem. Mei Gan coughed dryly a few times. Forget it. Forget it. Don't argue with the capitalists, for the sake of top-notch travel. Okay, it's decided. We will set off in 3 days, Mei Gan said to everyone. Steve and Linda walked out of the flower shop with a depressed look. Tony didn't say a word when he came to the flower shop. He talked about a lot of decisions. Then why did you pull me here? Just make a decision and tell me the result. You, the capitalist, have finished the words. The few people who have finished discussing are waiting for the arrival of 3 days later with anticipation and excitement. In the past 2 days, Audrey has been complained by Natasha several times, saying that she didn't invite her to travel, and whether she is a good sister. She complained on the phone, who told her to have a mission. There shouldn't be any danger in other countries. It seems that all the plots of Marvel are staged in the Big Apple. It must be a smooth journey. Chapter 47, at sea. Early in the morning, two luxury cars drove into a private dock in the Big Apple. The door opened. Mei Gan got out of the car with little Sissy in his arms, followed by Audrey, with a little chicken standing on her shoulder. Red Baby didn't come, saying that he would accompany Uncle Khan in the physical therapy center. Uncle Khan had 2 women to accompany him. He was obviously lazy to ask you, an ugly dragon, to accompany him. He ate and slept. Mei Gan even suspected that he had summoned a pig, not a dragon. Everyone got off the car, and the crew staff helped to carry the luggage. At the dock was a luxury yacht of more than 160 meters. The yacht had 5 floors, red and white, and the name Iron Man was written on the hull. This was the style of Tony, the narcissist. Following Tony onto the yacht, Tony said to Jarvis, "Jarvis, introduce this yacht to our guys. At your service, sir." Ladies and gentlemen, the Iron Man yacht has 80 staff members, 25 luxurious guest rooms, a swimming pool, a spa, a fully equipped gym, a bar and a large cinema, as well as 2 helicopter landing pads and other facilities. The yacht also has a mini submarine. If you have any needs, you can tell me. Mei Gan, Steve and Linda looked around like bumpkins entering the city, touching this side and looking there, full of curiosity. As for Tony and Potts, they have been to this yacht several times. Audrey often went in and out of such luxurious places when she was doing missions for S.H.I.E.L.D. and was used to it. Only Mei Gan and the other 3 bumpkins seemed to have never seen the world. Even the little chicken looked at the 3 people with disgust, let alone Tony. "Go to your room first, and I'll take you around the yacht later." Tony led everyone to the 4th floor, where there were several of the best luxurious guest rooms. This sea journey will take about 7 days and 7 nights. If you have to stop for fishing or other activities on the way, it will probably take a few more days. After all, we are here to have fun, not to travel. Fortunately, everyone has plenty of time. In 2 days, it will be Christmas in the West. It is estimated that we will celebrate it on the sea. Although Mei Gan does not celebrate Christmas, he is the only Chinese, so he has to obey the majority. 2 days later. The weather is very good today. The sun shines on everyone's body, and it is warm, dispelling the winter cold. The luxury yacht is parked on the sea. It will stay in the sea for a day today, letting the yacht drift with the waves. Taking advantage of the sunshine, Audrey and several other women are swimming happily in the swimming pool. Mei Gan, 3 men and a phoenix are lying on the deck chairs, drinking wine and basking in the sun, while little Sissy is sleeping soundly in the stroller next to them. Unfortunately, it is winter now, and the temperature will be colder a little later, and there is not sunshine every day. Today is Christmas. It's my first time to celebrate Christmas on the sea. Tony clinked glasses with the 2. Here. Seeing Tony clinking glasses with 2 people but missing himself, the little chicken was unhappy. "Are you a pervert discriminating against this phoenix?" The little chicken held the wine glass with his 2 wings and ran to Tony's side, shouting, "Wow. Little chicken, you have to toast too. Come on. Tony smiled and clinked glasses with the little chicken. The little chicken walked away contentedly, jumped on the recliner, and drank the wine happily with a straw in his mouth. I really can't imagine such a life. It's so comfortable. When I first joined the army, I thought about serving the country and going to the Liberation War. I thought maybe I would die on the battlefield, who knows. Steve drank the glass in his hand with emotion and said, "Hey, man, it's not good now, the days to come will be better." Tony patted Steve on the shoulder and said, "Cheers to the better days." Steve smiled and raised his glass. When he heard the words, "Cheers to the better days," Tony also raised his glass. "Don't think about it, you two. You will be busy in the future." Mei Gan sat up and said to the two. Hearing this, the two suddenly felt a bad premonition in their hearts. They looked at each other, and Tony said to Mei Gan, "Mei, do you know something? It's unspeakable, unspeakable. You should just enjoy this journey. If you really want to know something, call Carlson. He will tell you that a god came to the earth not long ago." Mei Gan said to the two with a smile, "Get busy. I will watch a movie next to you when the time comes. Anyway, you can handle it. Just come out and take away the Rubik's Cube at the end." Ignoring the two people who were talking to Carlson on the phone, Mei Gan took a fishing rod from a staff member. "Anyway, the yacht will stay here for a day today and will set off tomorrow. Those staff members have to celebrate Christmas." Throwing out the bait, Mei Gan sat on the railing of the yacht and fished quietly. Not long after, there was a movement from the fishing rod. Mei Gan exerted force with his hand, and a small fish the size of 2 thumbs was pulled up by Mei Gan. "Why is it so small?" Mei Gan muttered in disdain. The little chicken flew to Mei Gan's shoulder, staring at the little fish with his eyes. It can be seen that this guy's little brain must want to eat. "Brother, come on, my dinner tonight depends on your fishing rod." "Wow, this fish looks delicious. Brother, give me this fish." The little chicken waved his wings and said, "The loach didn't come with me. I have to please my brother well, and let the loach wash my feet when I go back." Little chicken. "Tony has prepared a lot of good dishes tonight. He actually likes the fish that your brother caught. You are still a good guy. Brother, you must catch more today." Mei Gan saw what the little guy was up to at a glance, so he had to cooperate. The little chicken froze in place when he heard this. "Am I asking for it? Wow. Am I not going to have a share of the food tonight?" It can be seen that the little chicken's eyes have already been moistened. "Why, don't you like the fish I caught?" Mei Gan said, trying to suppress his smile. "No. How is that possible? I must finish eating the fish that Big Brother caught," the little chicken said hurriedly. "Blood mage bless, Big Brother must only catch this small fish today." However, just as the little chicken's thoughts faded, Mei Gan caught a big fish weighing several kilograms from the sea. The little chicken had already thought of his fate tonight. It was a brightly lit night. In the restaurant of the yacht, Big Brother and Big Sister were happily eating all kinds of food: steak, king crab, caviar, braised fish, braised pork, stewed ribs with potatoes, white cut chicken, roasted lamb legs. And I, the little chicken, could only shiver in the corner and eat a bucket of live fish. I wanted to cry just thinking about the taste. "Mei, what's wrong with the little chicken?" Tony and the other two came over without knowing when, looking at the little chicken with tears in his eyes. "Don't pay attention to it, I don't know what it's thinking," Mei Gan said with a smile. Steve and Tony held a fishing rod, and the three of them sat together at the railing of the yacht. In the stroller behind them, little Sissy had woken up at some point, opened her bright eyes, looked at Mei Gan and the other two, and stretched out her 2 little hands, as if wanting to be held. Audrey held her SLR camera in her hand and pressed the shutter button at the few people. This leisurely time, these photos will make them smile when they think of them many years later. Perhaps when they think of them, even the air is fresh. Chapter 48 On the road. At night, somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean, a luxury yacht was drifting with the waves. The yacht was brightly lit, and Christmas items were hung everywhere. A huge Christmas tree stood in the middle of the deck, filling the entire yacht with a Christmas atmosphere. In the restaurant on the 3rd floor, laughter and joy rang out. On the dining table, plates of world delicacies were being served by the staff. In the restaurant, under the illumination of colorful lights, the entire restaurant looked dreamy and beautiful. Tony was holding a red apple in his hand and teasing little Sissy who was lying in the crib. "Wow, little Sissy, look at what the Godfather looks like." Tony put the apple on his head and made a face to little Sissy. Little Sissy laughed giggle at the sight. Bang Potts gently knocked Tony's head and walked out from behind Tony and said, "Don't scare little Sissy. How can I scare you?" Look how happy my goddaughter is laughing. Tony pointed at little Sissy and replied, wow wow wow. But little Sissy started crying at this time, and her voice was particularly loud. Look, you scared little Sissy. Seeing little Sissy crying, Potts quickly stepped forward and picked up little Sissy, glaring at Tony fiercely. Little Sissy stopped crying when she was picked up by Potts, sucking her fingers and looking at Potts aggrievedly. Tony felt very aggrieved. She was smiling just now. Mei Gan just wanted to laugh when he saw it, being fooled by a little baby. Potts, little Sissy is hungry. I'll take her to feed her first. Audrey looked at her with amusement, got up and walked to Potts' side and said, look, little Sissy is hungry. It's not me who scared her at all. Tony spread his hands to Potts, but Potts rolled his eyes. Okay, come over and have a drink, Steve said, holding Tony's shoulders. Tony sat down on the stool at the dining table. I forgot to ask you this afternoon. How did you ask Carlson? Mei Gan asked the two people beside him. I still can't believe that gods really exist, Steve said. Those are aliens, not gods. They just live longer than us. Tony sneered at the title of gods. They will die too. You heard what Carlson said. Odin is going to die. How can gods die? Tony said with a grape in his hand. You're right, Steve shrugged. He was not a scientist, and his brain was not as good as Tony's, except for fighting. This earth is full of disasters. I don't know when aliens will invade, Mei Gan said in a joking tone. We are not bad either, Steve said, clenching his fist to show his biceps. Mei Gan ignored Steve's muscles. What do you mean? Do you look down on my abdominal muscles? I tell you, if I want, I will immediately divide my abdominal muscles into several pieces for you to see. Let's not talk about this. Let's go and play a few plates after dinner. I recently learned your Chinese magic, Tony said to Mei Gan. Okay. Who else? The little chicken said it can and wants to play with us, Tony said, pointing at the little chicken that was dealing with a piece of steak. It has no money. I gave it money. Okay. 1 month later. 3 luxury RVs were driving on a road in Croatia, and everyone was heading to the Plitvice Lakes National Park, which is said to be the cleanest landscape. After a month of traveling and visiting several countries, everyone was already a little tired. I hope this cleanest landscape can make everyone feel better. The weather forecast said that there would be snow tonight. Although we didn't see the green Plitvice Lakes National Park, the white world in the snow would also be a different experience. The RV didn't drive fast along the way. We didn't see the sun all day today, so the snow that fell last night had not melted yet, and the branches on both sides of the road were covered with crystal clear ice. It will take another 2 hours to reach the place where we will camp tonight. Tomorrow is the first day of the Chinese New Year. As a Chinese, this is the most important festival of the year for Mei Gan. Mei Gan had already told the others that he would be responsible for dinner, and the food had been bought in the city they passed. 2 hours later, in a place with beautiful scenery and a vast area, 3 RVs were parked side by side. Tonight is New Year's Eve. Tony moved the TV of the RV outside, and the TV was playing the Spring Festival Gala of this world. Watching the Spring Festival Gala on New Year's Eve has become a must-see for Chinese people. Even if the current Spring Festival Gala is disappointing, you have to turn on the TV and listen to the sound, even if you don't watch it. While Mei Gan was cooking the New Year's Eve dinner, he listened to the sound coming from the TV and felt a little bit of the New Year atmosphere in this world. But you can't set off firecrackers, otherwise, Mei Gan would have to order a few strings of firecrackers to satisfy his craving. Not long after, Mei Gan tied an apron and put plates of Chinese dishes on the big table. Steamed fish, braised spare ribs, soy sauce chicken, boiled pork slices, sweet and sour spare ribs, coconut chicken soup, and other dishes commonly eaten during the New Year. Since coming to this world, Mei Gan hasn't had soup for a long time. It was only after Audrey gave birth that Mei Gan made soup several times, but that was to nourish Audrey's body. Mei Gan didn't make much soup, and all of it went into Audrey's stomach. As a typical Guangdong native, making soup is an indispensable skill. Tony took out a bottle of red wine from the luxury car and filled the glasses of several people. Happy New Year! Tony raised the red wine in his hand and said to everyone, Happy New Year everyone clinked their glasses together. Looking at the sky, it felt a little lacking without fireworks and firecrackers. Suddenly, Mei Gan's right hand tightened, and Audrey's white left hand was tightly holding Mei Gan's right hand. Mei Gan turned his head and looked, and Audrey showed a bright smile. Mei Gan's heart couldn't help but warm up. The next day, the first day of the new year, everyone walked to the park on foot. There were laughter and joy along the way, and the branches were covered with transparent ice cubes, like strings of crystals hanging on the trees. The frozen waterfall and the emerald green lake made everyone walking on the park path feel relaxed and happy. Time passed quickly, and soon another month passed. In the afternoon, everyone had arrived at the last stop on land, Ephesus, which Audrey wanted to visit the most. On the dry road, 3 luxury RVs were moving steadily, not very fast. Noisy music came from the RV in the middle. It was obvious that it was the RV where Tony was. On the road, green grass could be seen everywhere, and on the hillside, there were irregular mounds or strange rocks. The green spring had replaced the dry winter, and spring had arrived. Turning a corner, a straight road led to the destination. On both sides of the road, except for the occasional small mounds, there was an endless desert. At this time, Mei Gan found traces of battles on the road. Mei Gan was not mistaken, they were traces of gunpowder. Looking at these traces, Mei Gan's heart skipped a beat. Would something happen again? It shouldn't be so unlucky. If something really happens, I will never travel again. Pay attention. There may have been a gunfight here. After this bend, we will go a few kilometers ahead, to camp and go to the ancient city of Ephesus early tomorrow morning. Mei Gan turned on the RV communication mode, and said to the 2 cars behind him. Received. Tony and Steve's voices came from the speakers. Mei Gan turned off the communication mode, turned the steering wheel, and turned a corner. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49 Fire Phoenix. In the afternoon, the sun had not yet set. The afterglow of the setting sun fell on a small mound not far away, as if the mound was dressed in gold. Mei Gan and his friends camped on a wasteland 1 kilometer away from the road. At this time, more than a dozen luxury cars sped along the road and disappeared in front of everyone in a short time. So many rich people are going there, Mei Gan muttered as he looked at the luxury cars that disappeared at the end of the road. Maybe they are going to visit the ancient city, Steve replied with a smile. Hey, guys, I don't want to know where these guys are going. Should we go to the hill in front? Tony got off the RV and pointed to the small mound in the distance. Okay, let's go, and then they walked towards the mound. At this time, a car and a motorcycle were passing by quickly on the road. If Mei Gan saw them, he would leave without hesitation, but he didn't notice. At night, the crescent moon shone on the earth, and the stars in the sky were shining brightly in the sky. Mei Gan and Audrey were walking on the road with a baby stroller. Tony, Steve and others were setting up a barbecue grill. Under the starry sky, grilling and drinking a few bottles of iced beer was a real pleasure. Mei Gan was going to help, but was driven away by Tony and Steve, who said that they wanted Mei Gan to taste their barbecue. Mei Gan sneered at this, and said that it was no match for the barbecue in our great China. Not long after, Linda waved her arms at Mei Gan and shouted, "Mei, come over for dinner." Mei Gan waved her hand, and walked back with Audrey and the baby stroller. "Come here. Try my genius grilled chicken wings," Tony said, holding a string of chicken wings and waving at Mei Gan. Mei Gan looked at the black chicken wings in Tony's hand, swallowed his saliva, and suddenly felt that his stomach didn't seem to be so hungry. Would this be enough to kill him? Turning his head to look at the little chicken on the table who was feasting, Mei Gan doubted whether the chicken wings were really delicious. In order to prevent food poisoning, Mei Gan quietly walked to the side of the little chicken and whispered, "Little chicken, who grilled your chicken wings? Are they delicious?" "Brother, I eat the ones grilled by Steve. Don't eat the ones grilled by Tony. That's a piece of charcoal. If I hadn't vomited quickly just now, I would have been lying here." The little chicken waved its wings and replied one by one. Mei Gan finally understood what he said and looked at Tony and said, "Tony, you are not suitable for barbecue. Look, the chicken you grilled can't be eaten by this foodie." Mei Gan pointed at the black pieces on the table of the little chicken. "It's not that bad." Tony frowned and took a bite of the chicken wing in his hand. Before chewing, Tony spit the food in his mouth into the garbage bag and picked up a bottle of water to rinse his mouth. Mei Gan and others laughed out loud. "It seems that I'm still suitable to go to my laboratory," Tony shrugged. "You go sit down and leave the rest to me and Steve." Mei Gan patted Tony's shoulder, rolled up his sleeves and started grilling. The next day, it was just dawn. Everyone had already started their journey. 3 RVs drove onto the road in an orderly manner. The 3 men were talking on the phone, joking while driving. There were no vehicles on the straight road. Soon, the sun had half appeared, and the sky was full of rosy clouds. Mei Gan had only seen this kind of scenery once or twice when he just came to this world in the desert in Phoenix, Arizona. There, Audrey was rescued by Mei Gan for the first time when she was on a mission. That was their first meeting, the same time, the same scene. Thinking of this, Mei Gan turned his head and looked at Audrey, who was holding little Sissy beside him. Mei Gan drove the RV in front, and at the end of the straight road was a sharp 90-degree bend. At this time, everyone heard a burst of engine noise. 5 cars drove out of the sharp bend, driving at a very fast speed. "Fuck, this car speed must be at least 180 miles per hour. Are you rushing to see God?" Tony looked at it and cursed. Several people hurriedly turned the steering wheel to avoid these cars. Who knew at this time? A motorcycle drove out from the sharp bend, twisting in a charming S shape. The flaming tires printed a curved line on the entire road. Yes, the motorcycle was on fire, and a flaming skull was driving the flaming motorcycle to chase 5 cars. "Fuck. This is Johnny's guy." The moment Mei Gan saw the skull, his face was a little ugly. How could Mei Gan not recognize this guy on the motorcycle? "Mei, do you know them?" Tony asked while slowing down. "I know that skull, a guy who sold his soul to the devil. You can call him Ghost Rider." "Oh, by the way, the devil should be the driver in the car in front," Mei Gan explained to the 2. How could Mei Gan not have seen Ghost Rider starring Nicolas Cage? He has driven both movies several times. After all, Ghost Rider is really cool for watching movies. This is the plot in the second movie. In fact, Mei Gan also participated in the plot of the first part. It was during the trip that he met Johnny. Johnny was the second guy besides Blade who knew Mei Gan's existence. At this moment, the last car suddenly changed lanes and blocked the motorcycle behind the car. The Ghost Rider did not panic and passed through the gap between the 2 cars. In front, a masked man in black stood on a car with a cannon in his hand. When the man saw the Ghost Rider approaching quickly, he fired shells from the cannon in his hand and exploded next to the Ghost Rider's car. On the RV side, looking at the vehicle coming towards this side and not changing lanes yet. "Damn it, chicken, burn that car to ashes for me," Mei Gan cursed secretly. Hearing this, the chicken in the co-pilot jumped up excitedly, spread his 2 wings, and flew out of the car through the window. Since the chicken was summoned by Mei Gan, he only showed his true form once, when he was summoned. But the chicken always wanted to show his true form and fly freely. The figure of the chick appeared more than 10 meters above the roof of the RV, and the red light entangled the chick. The figure of the chick gradually grew larger, and its red feathers glowed. 7 red wings floated on its back, and its 2 huge red wings fluttered slightly. The purple-red tail feathers were the only 2 colors of the chick's feathers. The claws flashing with cold light were slightly bent, and the golden red mouth opened and made a cry. The chick flapped its wings suddenly, and the red flames bloomed, like a beautiful red aurora, hitting the car in front. The car hit by the red light was like a drop of rain falling into a bonfire, and it evaporated in an instant and disappeared. "Fuck, Steve, did you see it?" Tony stared at the phoenix in the sky with wide eyes and shouted, "Oh my god, I always thought that the chick was just a talking chicken. Who knew it was actually a big bird?" Steve said, after swallowing his saliva. Chapter 51 Help? 500,000. In the sky, the phoenix flapped its wings and appeared above the road. Threads of light flowed beside it. Its beautiful figure could make anyone who saw it for the first time fall in love with it. on the road. All vehicles stopped. Mephisto and his group had to stop because Steve and Tony had blocked them with their RVs, and there was an unknown big bird in the sky staring at them. Mephisto and his group had to get out of the car and each took out their guns and aimed at several larvae of Mei Gan. Ghost Rider was wrapped in an iron chain and stood in front of Mei Gan's car. Two dark eyes were staring at them. "Johnny, I created you," Mephisto said to Ghost Rider with a gloomy face. Ghost Rider didn't make a sound, and the iron chain on his body suddenly swung out, entangled one of Mephisto's men, and swung it hard in his hand, and the man immediately turned into ashes and dissipated. Kill him for me." Mephisto saw Ghost Rider's actions, and pointed at Ghost Rider and shouted. Upon hearing this, the men immediately fired countless bullets at the Ghost Rider. Bang, 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 the gunshots were loud, and the bullets were useless to the Ghost Rider. Is this so-called Hell Devil a fool? Didn't he know the power of the Ghost Rider and the bullets were useless to him when he made the deal? He was still wasting bullets. Or maybe he came to Earth, but his IQ remained in hell, which is very likely. It is said that the people and movies in the United States have this kind of plot, knowing that it is useless but still shooting, holding guns to find these non-humans. Holding a pistol, Dazeng shouted that he wanted to study these guys. Bang, the barrel of a car was aimed at the Ghost Rider, and several shells hit the Ghost Rider. The Ghost Rider opened his skull mouth without a trace of flesh and blood and full of black teeth. He let out a chilling roar. The hell flames on his body became more vigorous. The chains on the Ghost Rider were swung out again, crossing a semicircle, and several of Mephisto's men turned into ashes. Mephisto's facial muscles twitched. Looking at the guy he created, he regretted making a deal with him for the first time. Why did the last two generations of Soul Knights betray the contract? He felt that he had to go back to hell to reflect on himself. Mei Gan got out of the car and looked at the old guy with a face full of flesh. He felt that this guy was unlucky and was chased by the monster he created. "Mei, do you want to go up to help?" Steve and Tony walked to Mei Gan's side, and Steve asked. "Not for now. Wait until this guy can't hold on anymore and see." Mei Gan replied without turning his head. "Mei, are you sure this skull won't attack us?" Steve looked at the skull that didn't look like a good person and said, "Let's just consider it a human. After all, in the legend, those who make deals with the devil are guys who will disrupt order at any time, and Johnny's appearance really makes Steve and Tony look like a bad guy who will take anyone's soul at any time. Don't judge a person by his appearance, Steve. This guy's like Banner, who has been avoiding his own power. This time he just wants to protect that child." Mei Gan patted Steve on the shoulder and said, "Does he have those degrees that Banner has?" Tony asked, stroking his beard and looking at the Ghost Rider with interest. He's just a motorcycle driver. Maybe you can open a circus and let him perform motorcycle acrobatics." Mei Gan was stunned by Tony's question. Did Tony awaken a hobby of stamp collecting? "That's really a pity," Tony said in a consistent manner, looking at the Ghost Rider with regret in his eyes. Mei Gan ignored this guy and had to continue watching the show, but he lacked a stool and melon seeds. In the air, the forgotten phoenix was still flapping its beautiful wings, thinking about accepting others' worship. Who knew that no one was paying attention to it now? Even Tony and Steve abandoned it and ran to Mei Gan's side to watch the show with Mei Gan. The phoenix can be seen at any time. Just tell Mei Gan when the time comes, and this kind of violent scene can't be seen at any time. The little chicken and the phoenix flew alone in the air, looking at the people below with resentment. Woo, wow, wow. In the RV, little Sissy pointed at the phoenix in the sky and shouted happily. For children, beauty is always the most important thing, and the flaming skull is ugly to children, so how can they pay attention to it? So, there is still a child watching her. Phoenix felt a little comforted. Little Sissy is so nice. Phoenix looked down at the baby in the RV and seemed to have found some good ideas. Then he raised his head and thought carefully. And here, Ghost Rider pulled the chain, took it back from the last Mephisto's men, burned it to ashes, wrapped the chain around himself again, and walked towards Mephisto. Mephisto held the child Danny, his son, the son of the devil. He took a few steps back. Damn it. Callaghan, get him. Mephisto cursed and shouted at a car. The door opened. A disgusting guy with white hair, pale face and gloves came out. The white-haired man showed a disgusting and crazy smile and walked towards the Ghost Rider. The white-haired man got closer and closer, and the Ghost Rider seemed to be under an illusion. His body was shaking constantly, and it was obvious that he was under his power. The white-haired man Kerrigan took a few steps forward again, approached the Ghost Rider, and then grabbed his neck. "I have never been afraid of you," Kerrigan shouted loudly at the top of his voice. The flames on the Ghost Rider's body continued to fade, and the flames flickered for a while, just on the verge of extinguishing. Ding dong, ding dong. The iron chains on the Ghost Rider's body made a jingling sound as they shook. Seeing that the flames were about to go out, and the body was about to fall to the ground, Mei Gan's voice came at this time. "Skullhead, do you need help?" 500,000. Mei Gan walked to the side of the Ghost Rider and Kerrigan at some point, and knocked on the Ghost Rider's skullhead. "Mei. Thank you, I can handle him." The Ghost Rider seemed to have heard Mei Gan's voice, and the skull opened and closed his mouth, speaking a hoarse voice. "It seems that there is no problem. There is still energy to talk." Mei Gan walked a few steps and looked at the Ghost Rider and said. Kerrigan, who was given the dark and corrupt power by Mephisto, stared blankly at Mei Gan, who stepped into his power range without any effect. Could this power given by the devil be fake? It's impossible. How come it has no effect on this person? Kerrigan, leave him alone. Get rid of that guy quickly. Mephisto urged again. The Ghost Rider, who was shaking his body, suddenly had a surge of hellfire on his body. The originally fiery red flame turned light blue in an instant. "That is the power of angels." Raw Ghost Rider opened his mouth and roared. The light blue flame on his body became strong again, tearing away the corrupt power surrounding him, and hugged Kerrigan's head with both hands. He opened his mouth and roared, and his two dark and empty eye sockets stared straight into Kerrigan's eyes. A moment. The Ghost Rider threw Kerrigan to the ground and said, "An animal that died on the road." As soon as he finished speaking, Kerrigan's body turned into ashes and dissipated. The Ghost Rider didn't even look at Kerrigan, who was only wearing one piece of clothing on the ground, and walked towards Mephisto. Mephisto took a few steps back again, and grabbed the hand of the child Danny in his hand even harder. The Ghost Rider's figure flashed quickly, grabbed Mephisto's hand, pulled Danny behind him, and then stared at Mephisto closely. Raw the Ghost Rider opened his mouth and roared at Mephisto, and the flames on his skull kept shaking. Mei Gan felt disgusted when he saw it. He didn't know if he had bad breath. If he had bad breath, he must have cursed in his heart. With hatred flashing in his eyes, Mephisto laughed at the Ghost Rider fiercely and said, "You are the worst deal I have ever made, ha 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 ha." The Ghost Rider didn't make any sound, wrapped Mephisto with the iron chain on his body, and threw him into the air. Bang! Then he threw him to the ground, yelling, "Go home." End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.